Okay, so why did you pick this game?
Why did I pick this game?
Yes.
Because it's a great game.
I've heard very good things about Bubsy, the snob cat.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I see what you did there.
I got him.
It's one of those games that we've all remembered really well, to the point that I think it was last year they re-released. Well, they made a new Bubsy, and this is it 15 years after this one came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean they must be doing something right if this long after, Bubsy came and warmed our hearts, they're still making them. So I thought, let's go back where it all began at Bubsy 2.
Wait, is this Bubsy 2?
I think it's the only one that anyone actually bought. I think there was one before it, but no one.
No, this is it. The Bubsy 2 begins. It's got like a hub, like an overworld.
Oh.
Bubsy 2 is a vastly superior gaming experience to Bubsy 1.
Oh, okay.
And that is not saying much. But I know this. I know Bubsy 2 was the high watermark of the original Bubsy trilogy.
Oh, I see. Well, I mean, you obviously know your Bubsy, so I guess that's just, a testament to how good this series was, It's on the tip of everyone's tongue.
They're just like, let's get a cat, put him in some clothes. We can't do a hat. That's already an iconic character.
Yeah.
Put him in a shirt with some exclamation mark on it. We got
Who
him.
needs pants?
No, it doesn't even need pants. He's like Sally Acorn, just like a generation of furries were created by this fucking
Weirdos.
naked cat. Aww.
Yeah.
He's all wet.
He is all wet. So, maybe at some point it would be good if one of us started playing the game. Oh, right, there
Here,
we go.
go.
Okay, all right.
You know how to play this game. This is your game.
Well, I played it when I was 10, which gives away my age, I suppose. But I played it when I was staying at home diseased.
Aww. That sounds awful. That's like you'd be more sick with that.
Yeah, well, I was sick for a very long time during that period. So
It's probably because of Bubsy.
yeah. Oh, I remember the sudden death.
Oh, yeah, wow. That death animation is great because you stop dead.
Oof.
In like the worst way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Was this the first game where the moment you hit something, that's it, and you have to start from the beginning again? Like one time you run into someone. There's none of that shrinking bullshit. This is like hardcore rogue game.
Yeah, and the enemies kind of just sort of come up. Like I noticed there that you died to an enemy like a frame after it was visible on the screen.
Ah.
And that was just a packet of bananas.
Yeah, now I'm just scared to take risks.
Please let us know how our audio is, by the way. The current audio setup is I have my regular mic aimed at my face the normal way, and then I have a second boom mic aimed somewhat in Kav's direction with the gain probably set wrong. So please let me know.
And my streams, anyone who actually watches my streams or has watched them in the past knows that I bring technical difficulties with me wherever I go. So it's bound to happen at some point.
I do empathise with the whole feeling sick thing, like getting an attachment to it. There's a British comedy show called Some Mothers Do Have 'Em.
Oh yes.
Which is just one of the worst shows ever. That I've seen all of because I fell off my bicycle and like all of my body was scabs, and I was in bed and like my mum put Some Mothers Do Have 'Em on like Play All on a DVD, and I couldn't get up to, like, it hurt too much to move to get up to turn it off, so I just watched this fucking terrible show, like all of it.
Do you think she was trolling you? Maybe
she was like
making a hint.
Yeah, it's like how like they made the poorhouse really shit to try and encourage people to not go there so that they would get real jobs or whatever back in the 1800s. It was like that, where Mum was like, if you're staying home sick, you're gonna have the shit. You can't play Majora's Mask. You little fucker, you're gonna watch the worst show I can find. So and I would sit there in pain.
Me have them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did have a fun hat.
Oh god, can you die of like fall damage?
Yes, you can die of every possible hazard in this game.
I'm very glad you're playing this.
Well, Let's see if you're still saying that in a little while.
Aww. Dude.
Okay. So, there's a thing!
Why are we in space?
And on lava, and I'm okay with it.
Was that a bonus stage? Or did the
That
game
was,
just take a turn?
I think that was a bonus stage, and I'm not quite sure what those gems do.
Okay.
But I got one, so take that.
We did it.
Take that,
Oh,
game.
no.
Oh, that was something.
This reminds me, in a bad way, of the excellent game Lester the Unlikely. Oh god. Where the main character is a nerd who is bad at everything and afraid of stuff. So every time he walks on screen, an enemy's there, he goes "Nah!" and runs away, and then you gain control of him again. I hate when you lose control of your character just to observe something.
Wait, what game was this?
Lester the Unlikely.
Oh!
It's a quite bad game, but the thing about it that kind of works is the character development. So at the beginning, Lester's like this sad nerd and he takes fall damage. He goes "Rrr" whenever there's anyone on screen, but by the end he is stabbing people in the guts with a sword.
Jesus.
And like, it's a bit like Prince of Persia towards the end, with the amount of platforming and attacking and smooth animation happening. But like, it takes a long time to get there and it's not very good.
Lester.
It's Bubsy and the Blood Factory.
Yep. Accurate.
Why would you touch that?
Ooh.
Everything is built to kill Bubsy. Why did they put all of these yarns here? Jesus.
Oh, I thought I got that one. My understanding is that those aliens, they stole all of the yarn in the world, which is why Bubsy, a bobcat who has probably never seen a yarn ball in his life, is out to
was that a
save
life,
them.
by the way? Above the checkpoint?
Possibly.
What's that?
No, there's a gumball that can kill me!
No, the other thing, that one, that bit.
No,
that one.
that shows that I've been passed through
Oh,
this
right.
checkpoint
Oh, that's a
before.
checkpoint. It just looked like a flying coin.
Oh, fuck.
Good. I'm glad the game doesn't put any effort into conveying what is happening at any point.
Yeah, there's no cutscene or anything like that showing the story of what happened. You're just meant to put the pieces together. Yeah, so I believe that these fucking cars. Ah!
You've already collected 300 yarns.
Yep, and there's thousands more where that came from. You think we just make more? But yeah, so they stole all the yarn, and I meant to get them back as Bubsy. Ah! And sorry. And that's it. They're from space. For some reason, they really, really like yarn, and they can't make it themselves. They need to come to our dismal planet.
It's a resource they don't have. It's important.
The resource of yarn.
Oh,
there was something
Oh, it's
else.
like Sonic. You jump through the big ring at the end, and it's a yarn.
Yeah.
They thought of one cat-themed thing, and were like, well, it's all of it now.
And he's a wild cat. So it doesn't even, none
Why
of
does he
this
have a
shit
shirt?
applies.
Yeah, it's like Top Cat. I've always wondered that. Like, why does he have a cop hat on? They've got all this class imagery happening when, like, the thing is he's, like, homeless. I just don't understand.
It's. I think they were meant to go with the sort of, like, ironic, you know, like the Dick Van Dyke sort of thing where, like, he's a chimney sweep. I'm not gonna do the Cockney thing.
Oh, but it's a jolly holiday type thing. Yeah, swear. He's got aspirations of class.
He has class inside.
Delusions of class.
Basically.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he glides.
Forbidden Planet. It's a good one. I get it. There's fur in it. They had no idea. Normally when you have like an animal, they think of some good puns, everything's that themed thing. So like, oh, it's all cat themed. This is like, we have yarn and the pun is fur. Like, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Forbidden Planet.
Yep.
There's cheese in it.
I mean, it's movies. So maybe it was like a precursor to Gex. Another fantastic game.
They only have like that, like he's falling down water flume sound is literally 5 seconds, and then they just have to loop it.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward after a while. How does this water work? Are we looking at a cross section of a big pool, or is this a waterfall?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
What is that? Points in the top left?
Yes, it's points that amount to nothing.
Okay, K Shizzle just corrected me. Top Cat never wore a top hat. That's ridiculous.
What? Did you see me? I jumped on that car and I got taken away.
Yeah.
Is it just the red cars, perhaps?
Yeah, they made a lot of death animations for this game, which is
But like, I jumped on a yellow car. It's
Oh, good. That car goes behind the scenery. Okay.
okay.
It's really good to know.
Cool. Cool. Okay.
So I've noticed you can bounce on trees, but only at very specific angles.
Yes, only the knobbly part.
And you kind of walk down them of your own accord. Like, the controls are really confusing,
Yes.
especially when anything with a slope or the tree is involved.
Yeah. It's one of those games that if it had come out now, you'd see people trying to,
Yeah.
do 100% runs and things like that, and really, it's basically the Dark Souls of the 90s.
I guarantee there's a speedrun of this game that's 100% yarn.
Oh.
All yarn.
Oh god, poor soul.
Oh no. That's Napoleon.
Yeah.
He's like Napoleon.
I went down
Remember
like a
when
ship.
Napoleon drowned?
Yes.
Historical event. What's that a reference to? I don't get it.
I don't know. Are they trying to do a Tex Avery
Waterloo.
thing?
Oh. I'm gonna slap my face in shock.
Whoop.
That's just a fucking piano. Okay, that's clever.
And I believe if you run really, really fast and you run into that anvil, then you die. So that's another trap that they don't tell you about in advance.
And so if you just run all the way up the hill, you die.
Yeah, so
That's
you
great.
can't do you can't keep running because you might land on a banana peel, or a crate full of one banana peel, or you might run into an anvil.
Also, these aliens, do they, when you're standing next to them, try to blow on you?
I've always wondered.
Are they trying to spit at you? Because they don't have any arms. So, like,
Oh god, they don't.
things are not going well for these guys. What are they trying to do?
Why do they need the yarn?
To fashion... Well, because they
Oh!
can't make it themselves.
Yes,
because
because they don't have any arms.
That's to get their own. So do they blow you away? What are they doing? What exactly are they doing?
Are
Just
they like
stand there?
going near or something like that? I'm gonna stand nearby.
Yeah.
And it's scared of me, but at the same time, it kills me. And if I walk into its hair, I stay, I don't
Don't
die.
get any
It's only
closer.
if
I'm
its
scared.
nose.
He's gonna kill you next time. It's too powerful.
If its nose.
Uh.
Look, I'm right under it.
Oh God!
See, I'm fine. It's weird.
That's good.
Very strange. So speaking of being scared,
Oh.
I believe the idea was to read out some CreepyPasta at the
Yes.
same time.
Yeah, to read out some kind of horror-themed thing while one of us plays the bad game that we don't really want to play.
Yeah.
That's good. Half of the content of the stream is not for anyone's enjoyment.
Half of it is just
So if anyone
suffering.
has any suggestions, I've stolen Kav's work tablet and I'm now going to read CreepyPasta. So.
Yep.
Oh, the alien's backstory is explained in the instruction manual. apparently.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I read that because I wasn't allowed a Super Nintendo when I was growing up because my parents wanted me to study, and a SNES was a counter to that. So whenever I borrowed my like a Super Nintendo off my friend when my parents weren't around, I would play this game, and I believe she had the manual and I read it.
More like a bridge too short.
So,
Very funny, Bubsy.
someone in the chat recommended Jeff the Killer.
Jeff the Killer, eh?
Yeah, which is apparently a good pasta. I don't recommend googling that because the face that comes up is like one of the classic creepypasta horror faces.
It's not a nice face.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh.
I remember. Okay, here's a thing that I probably shouldn't share with anyone. I once I pirated a visual novel that I wanted to read.
Oh.
And it was like, I think whoever created the game had put up that pirated copy, because as soon as you hit go, a very loud, like, horror-themed, just like, very loud wind whistling through the trees sort of thing started playing, and just the Jeff the Killer face came up. I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to buy this game now.
Oh my god.
Just out of respect for them being willing to, like, pirate their own game as a shit thing.
Yeah.
To put up. So that was really clever of them. I wish I remember what the game was now. I think it was 7 something. It was some kind of. It was one of the big visual novels at the time. Killer 7. 7 gargoyles. I forget, something like that.
7 gargoyles. That sounds
Hold on.
terrifying.
Visual novel 7. I think It's not called 7. 7 something.
7 Samurai.
Yeah.
The romance novel.
7 Splimbies. Not 777 on DS. No. It's it was good. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's the page that comes up. CreepyPasta would like to send you push notifications. Don't allow. Jesus.
That seems like it's just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
I know how creepy pop-ups are. I could listen to this sound all day, and I probably will. Ah!
Oh god. At least you have. Oh god. 6 lives.
More like a bridge too
Well,
short.
you start out with 9, because even bobcats have 9 lives apparently. It's not just the domestic cat that has this privilege. Oh dear.
Of course not. It's an intrinsic power that all cats have. Even ones that don't have access to trousers.
Are bobcats technically cats, or are they one of those things that we say is a cat, but is actually a wolf or a badger or something?
I have literally no idea. I've not ever realised. Bobcat Goldthwait is a North American cat that appeared during the Irvingtonian stage of around 1.8 million years ago, containing 2 recognised subspecies. Scientific name is Lynx rufus.
Lynx Rufus.
Lynx Rufus is a hell of a fucking name.
That's adorable!
Yeah.
Little Rufus.
Rufus.
Oh.
Lynx Rufus. Rufus Lynx would be a really good name for a character whose power was they could turn into a cat in a story. I'm gonna steal that and put it in my anime.
Oh no!
No! I don't know what's happening on the stream because I'm reading the iPad, but I can hear what's happening. Oh god, it happened again. Oh, bobcats are cute.
Yeah, I'm just
And
gonna.
also really scary. I thought they would be like a regular cat
Yeah.
that just like was wild and hung out like eating people's trash or something, like a raccoon. But no, they're like a wild. What the fuck?
How does that work? Like I'm not.
What?
I shouldn't be
Oh.
allowed to.
Oh, you did. You came back and go ahead again.
More like a bridge too short.
Oh.
More
I'm
like
sorry I
a-
interrupted you with my.
No,
grief.
that was worth it. That was. You should have. You deserved that. You deserve to have your moment there. No, bobcats are like actual like tiger lion type things where they're like loose.
Loose.
They're running loose and they're dangerous. They're like bears. They're not like top
Like
cat.
loose lions.
They just hang out, you know, like a lynx. I guess their name is Lynx Rufus. There we go. This is educational. Oh wow! On the official Bobcat Wikipedia page, there's a see also, and there's 2 things listed there: Iberian lynx and Bubsy.
Ah, good.
Bubsy is a series of platforming video games created by Michael Berlin, and it's the worst thing to ever come out of Berlin. And developed, published by Accolade.
Accolade.
Oh yeah, Paws on Fire is a 6th Bubsy game coming out. And what's interesting is this game features Bubsy's nephews, which have last appeared in the television pilot in 1993.
There was a television pilot?
There was a television pilot sponsored by Taco Bell in 1993, titled "What Could Possibly Go Wrong?" Evidently, a lot did. What? Did you think you died?
I just went all this way across this perilous thing, and I got a life, which I'm probably going to lose now while on my way back.
For those of you who can't see Kav, when they got to the end of the hallway there, they threw their arms up in shock at the dead end, and it was like the whole thing. Yeah. Total Walker Post features new additions to the quote-unquote Bubsy universe, not made by the original Bubsy produced.
The Bubsy universe.
The Infinity Yarn. God. He was on hiatus from Accolade at the time, so they added more things. These include Virgil Reality, a genius inventor and scientist, Oblivia, Virgil's assistant and planned future love interest for Bubsy. So Bubsy's a
Oh no, it's
Bubsy's
gonna
a
be...
strictly hetero bobcat.
Well, it's good to know actually, because
We can't have a gay talking beshirted cat
running around without pants. Am I doing any damage? Oh wait, we need to.
Allie, the main antagonist, Ally, I take it that's like a cat. That is a Robotnik boss that they've just put yarn on.
Yeah, but it's worse because you don't just lose your rings. It's like you get hit one time and you're out.
Rob Paulson provides the voice of Bubsy.
Good to know.
Who knows what he does? He's been over 1,000 commercials. Oh, he was the title character in The Mask, the animated series. He was
Yeah.
Carl Weezer in Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. Everyone remembers Carl?
Good old, yeah.
Actually, Carl is like the boy with the glasses, isn't he? Like the rotund fellow with the glasses.
Really?
Yeah, I remember him. He's like the other character I remember from Jimmy Neutron. How I remember him, I have no idea. But,
Well, I mean, I never watched Jimmy Neutron because I was way too old.
well, I don't remember watching it at the time, but I remember watching bits of it on YouTube and going, wow,
Hey, whatever blows
I want
your
to see
hair
someone do an edit of this that makes it funnier.
I see.
Because you could easily turn this... It's like how I've seen a whole bunch of the fucking Donkey Kong animated series, even though that is way too young, too old for me as well. I'm too old for it, or vice versa.
Ah, Donkey Kong.
Oh, it was Pinky from Animaniacs.
Oh, Rob Paulson?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that. Why
His
did
name
I
was Robert
why did I
Paulson.
imply otherwise? He's done so much.
Oh wow, so were there only like 2 levels set in Green Hill Zone?
3.
3, okay.
I went through 3 levels.
And there were 2, and then a boss, so it's classic Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic rules. And then now we're in Casino Zone.
Yes, we're in Casino Zone, which is kind of cool. Rob Paulson actually has a podcast, which is apparently quite interesting, about voice actors. Like, basically, he just talks to veteran voice actors and chats with them.
He voiced Carl Weezer in the theme park, the Jimmy Neutron theme park ride.
Yeah?
Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon Blast. He was various voices in Spaceballs.
Was he?
Yes.
That's cool.
Oh, and he was Twarlock in the TAC series. And he's Grey Fox in Smash Brothers.
Oh no!
I know everyone cares a lot about these. Oh.
I forgot that I meant to float. Oh, what? You're not gonna...
Oh shit, he was Animan in Baldur's Gate 2. Wow. Animan is a really well-written character in Baldur's Gate 2 that, have you played Mass Effect?
I played little bits.
Well, Garrus in Mass Effect, like his one most interesting character trait is a rip-off of Animan, and they don't do anything useful with it, and Animan's version is way more interesting.
Oh, yeah?
Where his loyalty quest is he thinks his family has like solved the murder of one of his family members, and his quest is teaching him that getting revenge against a perceived opponent who probably didn't do it is like not morally correct.
I see.
And if you do the other thing with it, if you actually help him get revenge, it messes him up forever because it messes with his sense of morality. And there's an optional cutscene where someone taunts him about it, and he just goes mad and attacks them. It's like really cool. And in Garrus's version of the quest, as soon as he realizes this guy might not be the bad guy, they pull a gun and you have to kill him anyway. So it's just like, oh okay.
Wow.
So it's like it's not as deep. They undo the interesting part of the story they were ripping off.
Huh.
That's like my one take on Mass Effect. I've not bothered enough with it. Oh, he was someone called Rothschild in Samurai Jack, which apparently I just realised is very deeply racist. Uh-oh.
Yes! My favorite thing in these platform games, especially in Donkey Kong Country, is like the roller coaster rides.
Oh yeah. Oh, where you
I'm
jump.
wearing glasses!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, you hit the boot.
Oh,
Why is there an old shoe? What does that have to do with anything?
it's a good old shoe. I have no idea. I think it just kicks your butt
Oh.
in a different way. Ah! It's a trap!
Oh. Have you played have you played Pillars of Eternity, someone asked me. I played some of it and then stopped, and I'm currently playing through the game they made afterwards, Tyranny, which is really good, and I like the story a lot more.
It's a spaceship!
It's a spaceship ride, probably. Maybe.
Yes.
Oh no,
Yes!
it's just an actual spaceship just flying around. What's going on? How does that work then?
I'm gonna get on that.
That's not on. Oh my god.
Yee.
Whee!
Oh, I'm gonna
is he
get an
reaching
extra
up for the
life.
yarn?
Yes!
Oh, stream if you want to go for Donkey Kong Courtney.
Whee! Okay.
Whee!
This level's so much better than the other world.
Oh.
Can I duck? Oh, I can.
Oh, I'm scared. To be fair, a cat on a roller coaster would not be too good.
No. Oh, I thought that was a ride, but it was actually death.
Oh god. It's classic adventure.
I'm loving this ride. What the hell is there? Is that gem? Oh, secret door.
This might be some of the like worst music ever. Like, it's just high notes. I'm not normally a music technician, like I'm not like I don't know anything about music theory, but I can tell like something's deeply wrong with this music.
Why am I in lava? I don't understand it, and like...
It's like some kind of horrible vomit slide that you just involuntarily are put on.
Yeah.
It's like fire, he's just sliding through magma.
And...
Oh god!
And my butt is fine. I don't even... It's like the one thing that doesn't kill Bubsy.
Yeah. It's
boiling
like
hot lava.
It's like if you had some kind of like a Telltale adventure game where it's like a normal, you just go through character's life, like normal doings and it's general conversations, everything's normal, and then just occasionally you go into a room called the Scream Zone where just horrible nightmares are happening, and you just come out and it's fine. Like,
you've just designed a new game.
Yeah, it's. I'd love to make a Telltale type game, especially now Telltale have gone, so I can. Here's how your company could have not collapsed. Meh. That's not actually anything to do with it, though. Telltale, their higher-ups made a lot of bad decisions.
Yes.
Telltale wasn't just like, oh, their business model was bad. It was like, the people in charge were incredibly fucked up. They did not do their jobs very well. I feel bad. I know people who worked at Telltale.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, people like who did good work. And it's like, fuck. That's all gone now because the devs were bad. Hi, America's tea.
Yeah.
Someone said hi to business.
Oh, hello. Yes, this music is terrible. As someone who enjoys music, it offends me.
As a fan of vaporwave and techno, I have no idea what's good or bad music, except this. I found some bad music for the first time ever.
Yeah, well. Why is he wearing goggles?
He doesn't want to get anything in his eyes.
I guess that's sensible.
He's a wildcat. He's really not built for roller coasters.
He's got a t-shirt. He's got glasses.
Smug guy in
still
his
has no
t-shirt.
pants.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is how I dress when I film all my videos. I wear a shirt and no pants.
I'm just gonna like...
What is with the goggles? I don't get it.
What?
I fail to understand.
Yeah, like he doesn't wear them when he's in the spaceship.
I also
he
hate
just wears them on the roller
face he
coaster.
pulls whenever he's standing still. Just that smug.
Mm-hmm. Just wanna punch it.
Oh, is this it? Is this fire zone?
Possibly.
Let's check him out.
Let's find out. I hate when you leave him for too long, he'll actually knock on the glass and be like, hello?
No.
Just like, shut the fuck up, Bubsy, I'll move when I want to. Wanker.
I'm so happy that this cat, if this game came out, this cat would be dead by now.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he has 9 lives, so he's probably still alive regardless. What? I was at the top of the...
Oh, yeah, because if you're next to an edge, if you walk off an edge and the game decides that you would have fallen to your death there, it just plays an animation and you can't.
I could have glided out of that one.
That happens in fucking, in the 3D game as well, where if you just walk over an edge, like onto an edge, he just goes, Rah! That was...
Hey, I thought I saw Elvis back there.
This game's mean.
It's a good one, Bubsy. Oh, I thought I met Abraham Lincoln. Oh. Did you know Abraham Lincoln was a Republican? If you ignore 200 years of history, it's a really interesting thought. Think about it.
Yeah, I bet Bubsy's a libertarian.
Oh, the chocolate soy milk we got.
It's so
It goes
good.
so well with this coffee too. It's real nice. It's like a pudding.
It is. But pudding in the actual sense, not the British savoury, weird sense where anything that you eat that's not dinner is somehow a pudding.
One of the games that I considered making, the game I'm making instead of. Let me say this again. When I was like floating different ideas for games to make, one I considered doing was to do a game that was supposed to be like a PRES remake of a game that came out on the N64 that was basically a version of Bubsy, which is like a similarly bad cat-based mascot character. and have it be just this nightmare take on what 3D platformers were in the 90s and what that did to people.
What it did to their minds.
Oh God!
No, you didn't.
Jesus.
And I got splattered.
Yeah, that was a lot. Like have a game where like the first 3 levels are like a generic bad 3D adventure, and then you fall out of it into like a behind the scenes zone where like all the levels are made of projected footage from interviews with the developers and stuff.
Huh.
But then we were like, no, let's make a good game instead. Plus, at that point, Bubsy Goes to the James Turrell retrospective came out, and I realised I'd been outdone.
Oh.
Which is a fantastic game, by the way. Everyone should go play it.
Whoops.
Oh, so you don't die of fall damage if you glide.
Yeah, that's ostensibly the idea, except even if you do attempt to glide when you're on a roller coaster that's going very high, then apparently it doesn't really make a difference. Oh, they're dropping eggs on my head!
So
You little fucker.
So there's an inbuilt don't die button, basically, that you have to press or you will die when you land on the ground.
Yes, that's right.
Did either of you play Yo Noid 2? I haven't played either of the Noid games.
Yonoid?
The Noid is the pizza guy, isn't he? The pizza protagonist, pizza
Mario.
antagonist. He's the villain of a pizza company. He was their mascot for a while. Is it like Pizza Hut? Like avoid the Noid? The Noid represents pizza destruction.
Wait. Is that a linguistically sound... Noid has a relationship with the concept of pizza?
Well, I can't explain it. I mean, this was the 90s where people would just make up stupid things like Bubsy the Bobcat.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Gex the Gecko. Croc the Crocodile. Okay, that one makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Gex the Gecko, to a degree. I bought a game of Gex when I was in middle school, and I never played it because my computer at the time was not compatible with it. So I had the CD, and I used to just like sit there sadly reading the manual, hoping that one day I would get my chance.
According to Yami Artio, Yonoid 2 is a fan game that came out last year and is basically what I just described, but for the Noid. That's really cool. I'm gonna have to check that out because I'm into that.
Nice. James Pond?
James Pond is fucking great.
Is that like a frog game?
James Pond is he's like a fish.
Okay.
James Pond, Robocod. It's like a children's platformer that was like very much British 90s PC type game. So it was for it was for kids of a certain more tech savvy age than me. It was a really fun old game. And one of the fun things with James Pond was he didn't jump, he could just like extend himself upwards almost infinitely and grab stuff. It was a really cool animation and play style that was really cool to play for kids. And also, it was one of those like Rayman type games that got like inexplicably hard for children. That it burned itself into a lot of kids' brains, me included. There was another game I really liked that was for that era that I forgot what it was, where each level you play as a different like little tiny pixel person and they walk around, and at some point you get into a vehicle with each of them. I don't know its name, but I've spent years trying to figure out what it was.
Huh.
This they've missed a lot of the like fundamentals of how like a Sonic game
is fun.
Yeah, like there are things in Sonic that make Sonic a bit less shit. Like with Sonic, when you hit down, you roll into a ball and don't instantly die. Or you can collect things that prevent you from instantly dying. Basically they'd remove a lot of instant death. Without that, Sonic would be completely unbearable. You'd have Bubsy the Bobcat. And there's no blast processing either, so it's just look how slow this is. No blast.
Ooh. What does this do?
Maybe he's invincible? I wouldn't risk it though.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna risk it.
Walks directly into water and drowns straight away.
I was playing scary music. Oh my god.
I was dead. You actually lose 2 lives when you die with that power up on. That's what it does.
Yeah.
Our fearless leader? Is fucking what?
Because Bubsy is a cat, right? And cats have
like
fur.
a meow, Chairman Meow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Bubsy goes to the DP arcade.
Oh no!
You'd be surprised how many North Korea supporters I get in my mentions.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're like, North Korea's bad, but I mean, they've got
But-
to prevent. They've got to stop capitalism. They've got to prevent it from. I'm like, yeah, but like, look, buddy.
I once translated something that is very strangely related to Kim Jong Il. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, hi, I'm a translator, and my languages are Japanese, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. And one day I got a request for a translation, and they didn't really give much information. They just said, "Oh my god, fuck you." No, they didn't say that. They said,
Come on, fearless. Uh-oh.
they said,
There'll be a hit out on you now.
yeah. They said, you want to translate a poem? And I was like, sure. I mean, I've been translating birth certificates and shit all day. I want to translate a poem. And they sent me said poem. And I was having a look over it. It was written in Japanese, and I had to translate it into English. And, I don't like that platform. It has a silly look on its face. It's gonna drop something.
It opens up into just a mouth and it eats you.
Oh, okay. It tricked me. It was a double trick. Anyway, so I got this poem, and I was looking at it, and had a go at translating it, and I'm finding all this terminology that doesn't really seem to have any direct Japanese. Oh, fuck you! Any Japanese correlation. And it says something about a mountain. And I do a Google search for this title, and it's mountain. And then it talks about some Japanese characters, which are the Japanese word for Kim Jong Il. And I'm thinking, no, that can't be it. Why would you write a poem about Kim Jong Il? That's silly. And it keeps mentioning something about like the red flag spreading over the mountain. And it turns out it's like a poem of praise about Kim Jong Il that I've been asked to translate. Which I did, obviously, because I'd already said yes and I didn't want to be rude. But there's something about this whole thing that I don't understand. Like, I don't understand... Sure, let's try. I don't understand why it was in Japanese. Because, obviously, it's a poem in praise of, like, the North Korean regime. So why would... What kind of Japanese speaker would be so enamored of Kim Jong-il that they would write a poem of praise about him? And also, why did they then need that to be translated into English? For what purpose? And I'm, so I'm not really, because of confidentiality reasons, I'm not really allowed to ask too much about, who's sending this job and how can I report them to the police?
I'm curious. I was always curious if it was like a professor who wanted to like translate into English something that they were studying.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily direct propaganda, but you might have. But also, equally possibly, you have aimed further the ends of the darkest communist state currently existing.
Yeah. So I have somehow aided the North Korean government, for which I apologize on this stream, if anyone's out to get me.
Yeah.
But also, I'm kind of like wondering where that was published. So every so often I try to Google search like the lines of the poem that I translated in English and see whether it appears online anywhere, like on the North Korean website or something. So far, no luck. But somewhere out there, my evil deed is available. Yeah.
Who hasn't accidentally done work for
North Korea?
I mean, I've read all my call-out posts, and let me tell you, I've got to take back that time I accidentally helped fight with ISIS for those 6 months. It was a
trying time.
I've learned a lot. I learned the harsh lesson not to support evil terrorist group.
Wow.
So I'm just remembering Dan's folding ideas as short videos like, you do not, in fact, gotta hand it to Joseph Mengele.
Oh,
I felt that one.
yeah.
Oh, and then he landed on the...
Ugh.
God.
I actually didn't catch that, Jeff, because I was too busy appreciating Inside Other Side, who says, I'm sorry you work in an unappreciated market where everyone criticizes you without actually knowing a thing about the language you translated from, so they really don't know better. And that's so true, and I appreciate that. It's good to hear from the non, well, I assume non-translators. The appreciation for our work.
It's one of those fields where everyone thinks they know what the job entails. You just change the words.
Yeah, I'm always really excited and pleased when I hear, gamers come at translators on the localization of a game, as if localization and translation are the same thing. It's always fun. Every time it happens, every 6 months. Yeah, I wonder if someone from Japan was maybe, like, not necessarily, like, really into Kim Jong-il, but was interested in the regime on an artistic level. But it was really propaganda-ish, so it kept talking about, like, the red flag being... Like, he compared Kim Jong-il with, like, horses' hooves, like, pounding on the ground and making things better, and something like that.
If you get killed by a hot dog again, I'm gonna scream.
Oh! I think maybe,
No, it's all you. I'm not touching this game.
You bastard.
Yeah, it's all on you. What the hell is this you're talking about, Galbraith? Oh, you must have missed it. Kav P, for their translation job, worked for the North Korean government. No, that's not quite true. They translated a poem, a Japanese poem into English that was about how great Kim Jong-il was. Or was it
Kim Jong-il.
Il, it was the Il one.
The original and the best.
Actually, he's like he's just the acting chairman for his dad, right?
Yeah. Oh, it was like the main one, the one who sprang from the mountain, because that was the mountain that I was meant to be writing about. Oh no, it's that place.
I think you need to ride the coaster up there.
Yeah.
Or get a really good run up and some height.
Probably right.
Are you just killing him deliberately at this point?
It almost feels like subconsciously that's what I want to do. I'm gonna...
If you keep doing like this, Bubsy will be trapped in an infinite nightmare. Speaking of nightmares,
yes.
Here is a Reddit thread on r/nosleep called "Never Play Bubsy 3D."
Oh God.
It begins like this. My parents never let me play video games, so I only got to play them at friends' houses until I was old enough to make my own money and buy my own games.
Sounds like me.
My girlfriend grew up playing video games and has a lot of nostalgia about them, so she brought her old systems to our new house and gave me all her games to play. This is an incredibly unrealistic story already. So, this couple in the modern era can afford to just live together in a house? What the fuck is that?
It's fake.
This is a lie. That's not... They live with one of the two, their parents, and they're not telling it. That's just...
Shouldn't that be fearless?
But anyway, let's just move that list. Yeah. Let's just move swiftly on from this incredible... This was written by a boomer.
Obviously.
We often play together, but she's a biomed student, so she often has to... Well, okay, maybe she can afford it. Oh, no, you can't actually... No, that's exorbitant.
She's a student, that's the key term.
One day she'll be a doctor. So she often has to study while I play by myself. I have to admit, it's pretty awesome working since now my nights are free to play games instead of spending all my time doing homework. She always warned me not to play Bubsy 3D, saying only that the game was terrible, but playing games such as E.T. and Nightshade. Nightshade's good, fuck you. Oh, no, it's probably the other Nightshade. I was pretty sure it would just be laughably bad. While my girlfriend was out, I decided to give it a go. Waiting until his girlfriend was gone. It's like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, against her, without her knowledge.
Yeah, when my partners are out, I always come up with some, I do something truly devious that I want them to see doing. The best this guy can come up with is like, I play Bubsy 3D.
Play Bubsy 3D.
I want to date this guy if that's the worst thing he does when I'm out. Is this guy single now?
I'm sure if he's still
I did a
alive.
very bad thing. I got lonely while you were out on location for 6 weeks. I played Bubsy 3D. Oh, okay. The game seemed really unfinished. I was always terrified I'd just fall through the floor after jumping off a platform or die from grabbing some of the atoms. I got bored pretty quickly and left the game paused while I went around to clean up a bit. Did he come? And after about 20 minutes, I noticed the screen had changed when I walked back through the living room. Bubsy was messing with my TV's settings,
What?
like the volume, resolution, etc. This is
Bubsy.
actually true. That happens on the if you do nothing with the game out. It has like a fun animation where he pretends to play with the settings. It's the one cool thing that game does.
Huh.
It was actually kind of cute. I let it stay like that for a while, but when I was finally done cleaning the house and had made myself some food, I started it up again. This was a huge mistake.
Oh.
At first, I thought I just remembered the game wrong. All the colours were black and red, and Bubsy was invisible. I think they meant to say invincible, but who knows. The enemies chased you and bit the invisible Bubsy rather than spitting on him.
Oh.
And instead of Bubsy's familiar wacky voice and bad puns, his voice was distorted and deep. He shrieked whenever he took damage, and all the coins and atoms were missing. I couldn't see where I was going or what I was doing. The music slowed down to a terrifyingly low frequency, and it was a deep, booming sound. I honestly can't say why I kept playing until my invisible Bubsy died. But once he did, I saw his ghost appear on the screen, bloody and white, and text appeared on the screen that told me he had
white.
been sent to hell. I still have no idea what was going on, but I know I can't turn on my girlfriend's PlayStation again.
Or my girlfriend.
And that's the end.
Oh.
That's it. That's just the end.
Well, I have to say, that was interesting. The effect was somewhat ruined by this soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a D- creepypasta. My favourite part is the part when it's like, so when I came back, it was all evil and he died and went to hell. It's like I hit pause and photorealistic pictures of my parents appeared on screen, but they were dead. It's like, no, that's not believable. And my favourite creepypasta are the ones where like it could be real. Mm-hmm. I played this game and it was a bit odd.
Have you seen the one about not Parappa, that rat one? Did I showed you that last time, right?
Oh yeah, the one with the rat. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an Australian game.
Rap rat.
Rap rat. Yeah. Ugh. Like, you don't even need a creepypasta for that game. It was just really bad, and the rat was just really ugly.
That era. I want someone to write 16 creepypasta. 16 is like a Canadian children's animation show about being 16 and working in a mall. And there's something about it which is inherently kind of creepy. Where it's came out in an era where when all the characters be like terrible stereotypes. But it's so like late in the game to do that it feels inherently wrong. Like they're fucking with us somehow. And I always waited for the moment where it breaks character and is like, this is actually like a recruitment video or something. But for the military, like you don't want to be like these fucking kids.
Right.
Be a real man. Buy a gun and go to the mall.
Buy a gun and go to the mall.
Yeah, with the gun. But like no, it's just like it never stopped. That was just what it was. So I've always been curious if someone's done a creepypasta because I'd believe it if it were like I found the last episode of 16 where all the characters join ISIS or something, or start saying blood over and over, photorealistic grandparents.
Yes.
Something like that. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I've been somewhat distracted by the fact that I feel completely lost. I have no idea where the hell I'm meant to be going.
Incredible how does Bubsy get here through that doorway? Just doesn't make any sense.
What was even the point?
Do those explosives normally hurt you?
I don't even know. I bounced off one before, but that doesn't always mean that you're safe. It's more like an accident if you don't die.
Oh, Core 10K 16 was like a couple of years ago now. I think it might have been 6 and then the word teen, like the letter 6, the number 6 and then the word teen. It was made in Canada, but it's like a very American show, I think is its lineage. Me and a friend watched a bunch of it on Netflix and just couldn't stop giggling at how weirdly you can't make this show anymore. It's like if they made Recess now, like something's wrong. It's like from another dimension where the 90s kept happening. It's so weird.
Oof.
Just that.
The 90s. God.
Yeah, you have to make good shows now, like Voltron or My Little She-Ra or something. I don't know.
My Little She-Ra.
haven't seen
I
it.
would watch that.
I only watch fucking nerd stuff now.
Like She-Ra.
The Kamen Rider. I don't know. I don't watch any of the shows. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo Kimi wa Boken. I don't know how to say it. What's Bizarre Adventure in Japanese?
Oh. I mean, you could say it a few different ways.
Oh well. Well, fuck it then.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there's multiple ways of saying it. I'm not interested then. I thought it was easy. You type it into Google Translate and they tell you what it means.
That's probably the way to do it.
Oh my god, 16 had a gay episode, but it was cut from the American run. Yeah, classic. The cut-out episode that dealt with anything for real. That's a very American thing.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched a bunch of the 4Kids dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! Recently, and oh boy, is it clear that a lot of characters had guns and they just cut the guns out physically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I have no idea how to proceed.
You have to get really high and jump over one of the big pit.
But, I mean, like, I'm past that part.
Oh, well then I've
Now
no
I'm in a
fucking
maze
clue.
of doors.
I love to all these show names to feel completely out of touch. Oh, Jojo Kimona Boken. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
I had a really large sausage full of cheese when I was in when we were in town today, and it's going through me.
Yep.
Giorgio.
What is it? Jojo. Yeah, I'm totally gonna time out in this level. I have no idea what.
4 minutes left.
I'm just gonna go back.
According to the clock, it's 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. What time is that? The clock? 9? It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is it 9 a.m. or I guess it's p.m. Looking at the sky.
Yeah.
It's the golden hour.
It's the time to play Bubsy. That's what it is. I don't want to go into any more doors. I'm sick of doors. I hate doors. I'm pretty sure I've seen this door before.
This never ends. This is the last level. He never escapes.
Ah! Oh, that's what
They
happened.
threw eggs at you with their feet, and that's how you die.
Fearless? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Chairman Meow.
I just want to die. This is a creepypasta.
The things people have done to themselves after playing Bubsy are worse than any creepypasta could ever be written.
Mm-hmm.
I like this keyboard. It's nice.
It's a nice keyboard, isn't it?
It's typey. I
Yeah.
still have an ancient ThinkPad that I type on need to write elsewhere because it's so convenient.
Mm-hmm.
It's from 2011, so if it breaks, I don't care. But it types so nice.
Yeah. Don't you throw eggs at me, you fucker.
I'll fucking kill you. I mean, whose eggs are they? Do the aliens lay eggs?
I don't know. Why would you throw your own
I'm curious.
periods? Actually, no, I can
I'm
kind of
curious
see.
why they need yarn. Is
Yeah.
it like to cover up? Oh, they throw that at a faster rate than it's possible to actually dodge. as
Yeah.
That's
Couldn't that be
intense.
fearless?
I'm grumpy.
Uh-oh.
Very grumpy.
So, do they need the yarn to like make little things to keep the eggs safe for the children, keep them warm in the winter?
It seems like they definitely don't care about their children enough to actually, make a tea cozy or whatever you put on to keep eggs warm.
I'm gonna Google the story of
Egg
Bubsy
cozy.
to try and understand what's happening.
Yes, please. That's probably a creepypasta. Go in the blue door, then brown, then red. Okay. Blue door.
In the game, enemy aliens called Woolies intend to steal Earth's supply of yarn balls. And as Bubsy has the world's largest collection of yarn balls, so that's Donkey Kong Country, but with yarn instead of
Yeah,
balls.
that's totally Donkey Kong Country.
As Bubsy has the world's largest collection of yarn balls, he has the most at stake and sets out to stop the Woolies and reclaim the yarn balls. The game plays as a 2D side-scrolling platformer, well, arguably. The player must maneuver Bubsy.
Fuck!
So that's
Oh.
it. That's the whole story. They want the yarn.
Really?
Stop them. Oh, The Super NES version is the only game of the Bubsy series to be released in Japan under the title Yamaneko Bubsy no Daiboken. Daiboken.
Can I see?
Daiboken.
Daiboken.
The release was mostly identical, except Bubsy's voice clips were dubbed in Japanese. I want to see that.
Possibly you're wrong.
Wait, how do I put in password?
Is there password?
Yeah, like you should be able to go back up, or it might be.
Is there like a select button?
Yeah.
Maybe?
That's right, I'm using like a Super Nintendo thing, so like I should be able to
Maybe press I don't know.
select, yes.
There we go.
Full audio,
Do you want
enter
to find a
passcode.
passcode?
Yes, please. Let's just go to the next world, because I'm sick of Fairground and that soundtrack.
Let's just cheat with Bubsy. That's how you get CreepyPasta.
Really?
If you try and cheat, it cuts to the Jeff the Killer face. This is like what happened with me when I pirated that game.
Possibly you're
What?
wrong.
Oh, you fucked it up.
I've even fucked up putting
Now you
in
have
a
to play
passcode.
Bubsy all the way
No.
through. I'll reset.
I
Okay.
hate my life.
On the title screen, press up or down on Control 2 to select levels. Oh wait, no, it's not it. That's debug mode. Wait. What's the password? Bubsy passwords.
Possibly you're wrong.
Fuck. I'm sorry.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm sorry, Mr. H-Bomb.
The level codes are in a random order. You were on like level 6, weren't you?
Possibly you're wrong.
Oh, fucking sorry. Just tell me the password. I think I need to press select, not start.
Okay. Well, you did it was level 6 you were on, so if we do 7, then...
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. STGRTN.
This is gonna be fun.
Scarleton.
STG?
Oh, this is a very readable font.
Yeah.
I'm glad they went with this.
TN. And then I press enter or select.
Possibly you're wrong.
Oh my.
Whatever button it was, it's not that one.
Okay.
That's the lesson I have for you today.
I'm so angry.
This game is amazing. Even the password screen is absolutely fucked.
I hate myself.
Use the secret level code Paimon. It's a good one. STGRTN. Excellent. Use the secret passcode He Lives. STGRTN.
Are you sure you don't want to take over? While
Yes.
I'm reading CreepyPasta?
It's your stream.
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7.
Select. Oh. Thank you for bearing with us.
I think once it says Chapter 7, you then can go press start.
Press
maybe?
start, yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
I will, RTN.
Yeah. This is how I played Sonic as well. We just beat the boss of like the water level.
It worked for Clint.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we died on the way out of that level. And like, fuck it, we'll use debug mode and load the next level. This is not completely unpleasant music. It just doesn't have any low notes.
Oh, just give it a few minutes to really start to grate.
Oh yeah, I can sense this becoming much worse the longer
Well,
you listen
worked
to
for
it.
Clint.
Well, I work for Clint.
Wait, someone says Yummy RTO says somehow the soundtrack to Bubsy 2 is somehow worse than this game is.
Wow. I don't believe you. No, lies.
What is that meant to be? Is it meant to be a...
Don't touch it. That's all I'm gonna... It's evil.
I mean, it's kind of cute, but...
It's cute in a pug-like way,
I
where it's
want-
like a mutant that
Yeah.
we've created and shouldn't have done.
I want to define it.
I want to like unpug all pugs, like hit the button that solves all of their genetic disorders.
They probably shouldn't exist.
Yeah. Like if you slap their face enough, will the parts of their face that are a bum that's been formed in the wrong location move back to the right place? I just want to like put them back together. I don't know. How do we fix pugs?
I mean, short of destroying them
Yeah,
all.
like how many surgeries you gotta like lengthen the nostrils so they can breathe, make the cranium bigger. Or does that make it so you can't die from standing on them? That's clever. That's actually a good point. That works.
Ooh!
Why do you do not need that yarn?
I do, then I can get the... I have no idea what this yarn... Because I'm obviously not getting all of the yarn every level, so can't I just be happy with a few? And surely the yarn is, you know, we can...
You fucking hit that guy! What has he done to you? He's not an alien. He's just a giraffe. He's having a good time.
I'm using the giraffe.
Disgusting.
I'm sorry.
You're like transplant... Oh!
I deserve that.
That cat is now a mess on the tracks. It's gone. A burst cat on the sidewalk.
I don't want to bounce anymore. I'm trying not to.
Bubsy is a menace.
That's yarn?
That's yarn. It might be a trap.
It's probably a trap. Everything in this game is a trap. Giraffe's a trap. At least I got an extra life. I like how chill they are. Even though I'm, you know, like crumpling their neck burns, I'm still kind of happy to just be doing their thing. Oh, I'm glad I landed on that. And I still don't know what these balls are and what they have to do with me getting back yarn. Am I robbing them as well of their life force?
I like the little conductor's caps they've got.
Yeah, they have different costumes every world, which is pretty cute.
They only designed one enemy, but they made slight changes, so it's a little better.
Ugh.
Bubsy. Yeah, the music is now terrible again. My brain attuned to it, and now I'm sick of it forever.
Yeah. Well, it's just another 2 hours of this.
It's a great game. It'll go down in history as one of the classics.
Yep. Well, it already has.
If anyone has a CreepyPasta they want me to read while Kav plays this nightmare, we can do that.
Yes. Please read a CreepyPasta so I'm not reminded
Not
of
stuck with this.
what I'm doing and my life. It's just what a failure everything is.
God. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I picked up something good without realizing. You know, I don't think in all the time that I've played this game, I don't think I've ever gotten past this world.
Apparently there's a creepypasta called A Room.
A room, okay. Oh.
It's very long.
Good.
So I'm not
Longer
really-
than this game.
It's too long.
Okay.
It looks cool though. Apparently it's a really interesting one according to the post. Most interesting thing I've read here. And then someone else at the bottom is like, this is boring. Interesting.
What? Into the canyon?
No. Oh, did you fall in the canyon?
No! I think this was what I was meant to do.
Oh.
Cool. It's the first thing I've done where I didn't die. Oh, I don't know what happened there.
Even slightly more bearable. Like it's working its way up to good, like decent-ish music.
Careful what you say.
Oh, I'm sick of it now. Like immediately. No, actually.
Yeah!
Dead. Bubsy's fucking dead. Into the canyon.
Again.
Bubsy into the canyon. What does that mean? Let's look it up.
Yeah!
This level should take 6 minutes to beat. No, wait, hang on. Someone has repeatedly tried to do Bubsy this level.
Oh,
It took them
right.
8 minutes the first time, then there's another video a day later called Into the Canyon Again. Back into the canyon. Yeah, so this level's actually really hard. Okay, well, good luck.
You didn't see just now, but that was another throw my arms up in the air in disgust moment. Someone mentioned something about Russian sleep experiment.
Oh god, yeah, that's one of the many creepypastas where it's like, oh, this might be okay, and then it just goes too far and it becomes less good.
Oh,
Creepypasta, like, there is an art to it, it's a good horror stuff, whereas Russian sleep experiments just, the Russians kept some people awake for a bit and they all went weird. Ooh.
Who would have thought?
It's one of those, like, bad ones.
Well,
I have high standards for horror stories.
I have it on good authority that it's a quality pasta.
Wrong. It's a CreepyPasta. That's his name now. Yeah.
Pasta.
Yeah, yeah. Fna.
I apologize for that noise.
The only thing about Russian sleep experiment is the image. Oh, okay. Let me look at Russian sleep. Apparently there's a Russian sleep experiment film. CreepyPasta.wiki. Ah! Scary. That was a scary face that popped up.
Yeah, and then went away.
And then went away to load the rest of it. Like, it was like a video in the first frame. Like the thumbnail was a scary picture.
I dislike it when things jump out.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of jump scares. Oh yeah, it's a weird face.
Oh.
Oh.
What's that got to do with?
Since they stayed up so
Their
late.
skin melted off.
Stayed up so late that their face went all scary. Oh.
Now I
I'm not
know.
a fan of that. I like scary stories. I don't like pictures, especially not pictures that are designed to be something you see very quickly and your brain goes. Rah!
Yeah. What about someone mentions the showers?
Nah. I just realised that creepypasta is stupid and doesn't work. I like bad video game creepypasta. Like there's the genre of bad stuff. When everyone tries to write a good one, it inevitably is not very good. It's fuck it.
Well, let's read some shitty ones then.
Okay, I'm gonna look up. Does anyone have any good video game creepypasta? I want to get into that.
Can you? What if we watch? Oh, actually, no. The Rap Rat one doesn't really make sense if you're not familiar with the game and no one knows the game.
No one knows the
Terrible.
game. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's an Australian only one.
Just go read Blood.
Blood Whistle. Okay.
I mean,
that sounds
from the
good.
name alone, I'm sold on Blood Whistle.
Blood Whistle.
Ah! I'm gonna need that password again. I might write it down because I'm probably gonna be here for a while.
Are you sure? Will Into the Canyon be the next level or?
There is actually another thing on. There's one for level 8 specifically.
Yeah.
So let's go straight to level 8 because.
Oh, if you want to write on something.
Thank you, Hbom.
The underside of that paper you're writing on is a note, a part in Prime Minister's questions where a Conservative asked a question I thought was pretty good, where they were like, can we vote on not doing a Brexit, please?
Oh.
You know, it's like someone who works, who is on the Conservative Party is like, you know, this is really bad. Like, just, you know. I do like watching Conservatives try their best to prevent the nightmare that their party has has always been. But yeah. I was with Thatcher when she was like, oh, destroy the country. But now that Theresa May's saying it, oh.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
Oh, I believed in cutting the tax rate.
Yes. There's a Star Fox one.
Oh,
Star
wow.
Fox 6664.
664. Okay. Blood Whistle. Okay. Okay, Blood Whistle is like a series of like diary entries. It's an epistolary.
Oh, Super Mario Brothers 3 creepypasta?
Yeah. I was hoping there'd be a specifically Bubsy one, but there's like 2 and they're all like bad and a joke. Where the joke is that they're bad. This one is long, but it's in entries, which is a cool way of doing it. So I'd like to read that for the fun audience, while this happy music plays.
Mm-hmm.
Can we distort the music down? So,
That would be great.
this is the story of the Blood Whistle. I'm gonna just
How my
maybe go
world
pee.
got turned upside. I don't actually know the introduction.
But then
to
the
Fresh
Blood
Prince.
Whistle. Blood Whistle. What a great.
The blood whistle. The bloody
Blood
whistle
comes out.
kept blowing, and the blood kept flowing. Sounds like a Tom Waits song, really. I could dig that. Okay, let's hear Blood Whistle.
I'm just drinking some water. I'm
Oh,
gonna go piss.
need to prepare.
I just want to stare at Bubsy. That is like a fisheye lens train, just like it's all bent.
It's kind of cool. It's very Disney-esque.
It's exactly like Disney.
Funny that. What is the point of the? Oh,
It kills you, so you can die.
Make my day.
I learned
Fistful
my
of
lesson.
yarn. Do you get it?
I think so. Cause
It's like in the Western, but they changed it because it's a thing.
Yes.
For a few cats more. Incredible.
No.
I take it back.
Thank you. I
make
don't
my
deserve
day.
any praise for that.
That's you.
Even that music is better than this. Even your rendition of that song is preferable. If that were on loop.
My mistake. 9 coffins.
ahead,
Get it?
make
Because it's
my
cax. My
Coffin.
sense of humor is wasted on you.
Coffin full of yarn. Ah! I'm.
Go ahead,
Ah!
make my day.
Did you just spit out your drink?
I almost did, yes.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry for causing you such distress.
Mm.
Oh my.
Go ahead, make my
Sorry.
day.
Ah!
This is disgusting. This gameplay, not the noises I'm making.
This game is bad. Ugh. At least I got an extra life out of it. Ugh.
What does the 2 mean when there's... I've seen shirts with a 2 written on
That
it.
means you get 2 lives.
Wow!
Yeah.
Just like a cat!
It's not really intuitive, but
Yeah.
I don't like.
I love the thing cats do where they extend their claws and then just tap you.
Yeah. I don't like this. I really don't. Is it just getting... Oh, it's getting more and more like that. That's clever, actually.
I don't see the point of it, and I don't understand.
Just throws you off it.
And, how is that there? Is it suspended on something? It's just floating on this train.
You know, that's a good point.
I'm trying to not think too hard about the
I hate this train. Oh, what the hell is that dinosaur doing there? What does it want? Where's it going? Yeah? Oh, piss off then. Hi everyone. Now that Hbomb is gone, I can finally tell you what I think about him. Hbomb's a fake feminist, brutalist bro, and you can quote me on that. Sorry, I'm getting too distracted by the fact that this game is terrible. And also, technically, the bathroom is right over there, so I probably shouldn't be too mean or scandalous. But either way, oh fuck.
Go ahead, make my day.
Hbomb, I hate this game.
Did you tell everyone I was a brutalist?
I did.
I don't really know what that means anymore.
Go ahead.
I don't
make
either,
my
if
No.
I'm honest.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have called you Gammon.
Oh!
That would have been, temporal.
Oh, I'm gammon banned.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gammon man.
Blood Whistle, open brackets. Super Mario Bros. 3 Creepypasta, close brackets. Well, now we know it's fake. It's a shame. Animus, not anonymous, Animus/unknown author. Forward. This is the recorded blog
Sorry, keep
of a
going.
dead cat of a college student who is playing a modified version of Super Mario Bros. 3 on his computer. Shortly after submitting the last entry, he committed suicide in his dorm room. Well, spoilers? Jesus. Well, now we know how it ends.
Well, I mean, that's that one done.
It's like 11,000 words, and it's like, oh well, she's dead. Imagine if that's how, Wuthering Heights. These are the accounts of some people, and at the end this happened. June
And then
5th.
he woke up and it was all a dream.
These are, Dracula. These are all letters pertaining to that time Dracula, who we killed, did this.
Go ahead, make my day.
I
You
was-
keep dying in the exact same spot. It's a sign.
It's a sign that all these creepypasta. That's probably the 4th time I've done that too.
Jesus! Just murdered by a giraffe. I can't notice that when you hit start on your controller, it fast forwards you as well. I assume that's because it's like a hotkey or something in the
Oh,
emulator that fast forwards you.
I like that. I'm gonna use that.
No.
Okay, let's get on with the journal entry.
Okay. June 5th, 2012. A friend of mine recently sent me what he claims to be a scary Super Mario Bros. 3 hack that he wanted me to try out because he didn't have the courage. I started this blog to record my progress through the game. He got this from a site that's no longer active, and I've seen some pretty scary occurrences with emulator games before. Just look at Ben. I assume that's the Majora's Mask one. All of that aside, however, there was something definitely off about this ROM. Its title was SMB3BW. Anyhow, I won't play any today as I'm quite busy with college work and such, but I will definitely start tomorrow. June 6th, 2012. I played some of the game today. Obviously my friend was misinformed as I have played all the way through 1 to 3 and found nothing irregular. All of the sprites, levels and sounds didn't have a fluke to their name. Wait, a secret. That must be how you have to unlock it. I swear you guys, I'll find the warp whistle tomorrow and see what creepy secrets this game has to hide. Look for tomorrow's post, it won't disappoint. Maybe this will explain what the BW in the title stands for.
So it's a journal, but
Yes.
it's a journal that's directed towards other people. Is it perhaps a live journal?
It's like a blog, yeah, like a live journal blog. They had live journal in 2012, right? Back in the dark ages of Coney.
Well, let's assume yes.
June 7th. I wish I hadn't unlocked that secret. The end. This game will be the bane of my existence. I'll try as best as I can to explain what happened and what will certainly entail. I don't know if any of you will believe me, but this sick mockery of one of my childhood favourites must be exploited and never be seen by the eyes of any other breathing man on God's green earth.
Okay.
That's a sentence structure. And Todd, well, I'll call my friend for the sake of privacy and possibly security, do not send that link to anyone else. You'll see why below. You could just message them privately. I entered the castle stage. Knowing its only secret was the warp whistle, I disposed of the dry bones before donning a raccoon tail. With a running start, I was flying above the stage until I hit the secret area. My whole life before I hit up on my arrow keypad was completely different. I was happy. I was normal. I could wake up in the morning recognizing my own reflection, being absolute about my safety. Now it's lies. All lies.
What?
I know that as of what happened today, my life will become an infernal hell in which every day will be a futile struggle to retain my own sanity. After finishing this wretched collage of electronic dejection, I will embrace death like a long-lost lover with open arms. Now to get on with what had come to pass.
Well, I'm already
I
terrified.
hope my mic isn't too blown out. People let me know if I'm going to turn it down a little bit. The blocks that line... because it looks like it says I'm clipping on my speaker monitor, but I have no idea if it's going to bring in the... Okay, it seems okay. Cool. The blocks that lined the wall were a gloomy, albeit polished, obsidian black. Mario's skin now had a greyish tint to it, but that wasn't what was wrong with that picture. The music was a sped-up version of the normal quote-unquote bonus room theme. Todd's skull was cracked open and profusely bleeding, spilling blood onto the floor and making the room slippery like an ice stage. His mouth was also agape and spewing blood onto the floor. The blood had an eerie, reflective quality that should have been graphically impossible for an 8-bit game like Mario 3. Photorealistic blood, like I was saying. That's a key feature of CreepyPasta. I love it.
Where's the blood coming from?
It's from Toad. I walked up to him to see what it is that he might say. What he had to offer is this. Blood whistle. Hear its cry.
Huh.
I then ran towards the chest to see its contents. The chest was drenched in reflective, realistic blood of the same type emanated by the orifices and exposed cranium of the poor little mushroom-headed fellow. That's what I call my... Anyway. Pressing onward, I ran through it to discover its dark secret. Its twisted surprise. I wasn't prepared for the following events. A blood-soaked warp whistle ominously rose from what I now believe to be the deepest crevice of hell. It blipped twice as the normal whistle would. That, my fellow reader, was the only normality of what I have played today. It played a deep tune that I can't get out of my head as I write this. The whistle descended, violently striking Mario in the chest.
Ooh.
He unleashed a blood-curdling scream as it went into his back and out of his chest. This cry wasn't 8-bit at all. It wasn't even cartoonesque. It was the sound of unfiltered anguish,
Go ahead.
of utter agony. His expression reflected the same. To end my experience on this perverse version of something I once loved, Mario was transported to the warp zone of the blood whistle.
Oh shit.
I call it this because it had only the cookie-cutter outline of the quaint island. The water consisted solely of the same blood aforementioned in my encounter with the whistle. Corpses of Koopas and other enemies of Mario were scattered afloat near the shores. White, menacing eyes glared at me between the waves, surfacing just to cast their evil glance at Mario, or me. I couldn't be sure at this point.
Huh?
All of the worlds were indicated by their respective numbers, and all of the dots were crimson. At that point I noticed yet another abnormality, this time concerning the dot for World 8. Beside it were two 8-bit patches of fire that twisted and contorted in place. Without me pressing any buttons, the whistle stabbed Mario in the ribs.
Wait, what? How does it? The
whistle.
The whistle rose up.
He just flew at him, stabbed his little
Stabbed him in the
ribbies.
rib.
His ribblies.
Oh,
His ribbly tibblies.
Mario. Ridley's World of Believe It or Not.
This cued him to move to the World 2 dot. Refusing to pay any further attention to the horrors that surely await in the distorted desert, I saved the game and quit. I've played more than enough of my fill for today. I guess that I figured out the acronym from the ROM title meant blood whistle the hard way. Despite the horrors that plague this abomination, I'll continue to subject myself to this suffering for the sake of all of you. Well, also for mine. It'll help me keep track of the days, and maybe this desperate attempt to cling to my stable frame of mind won't prove to be in total vain. There are 5,000 people that have followed this blog in the 2 days. I'm gonna keep up with the fucking metrics after playing my murdered stab game.
It's not a very interesting blog.
Yeah. After this pointedly interesting post, speak for yourself, I'm hoping to have some more. For those of you following my posts, read tomorrow's and share with your friends. I need to expose the stark luridness of this shell of something I once knew and loved.
Sorry. I didn't mean to scream. It's the creepypasta's just too much.
Oh, a shark.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forget that sharks are a thing.
Yes, sharks are indeed a thing.
June 8th, 2012. Well, I did it. I managed to clench the fickle fibres of my perception of reality. It's like a Lovecraft. And long enough to play through World 2. I've come to the conclusion that whoever made this is completely and utterly deranged. There's been a rusted gear or a broken spring in the mechanics of their sadistic mind. Their only purpose in creating this mod was to mentally and psychologically flagellate the naive soul poor enough to take the bait of its mysterious origin.
Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly naive enough to fall into that category. I digress to the experience.
Sorry. Carry on.
I like the hats though. Oh, is there a special?
Oh, I think I was safe.
You were safe. I guess it lands in its own hole, like above you, so you can. That was a really cute little gunslinging kneecap. Oh, great. Yeah, that's normal.
Why would you put an exclamation mark right where there's a bad thing?
Because I hate you. That's a direct quote from the developers of Bubsy.
Because I hate you. Are we able to maybe get the password for the next level
No.
before we continue on? This
Never.
fascinating
Level 9 then?
Level 9, yeah.
DBKRRB. DPRK forever. No.
RRB.
Yeah. Wait, what level? Oh, level 9, yeah. DBKRRB.
I've got it written down.
Cool. Alright. I find myself asking how I could have missed major things like this yesterday when I saved the game in this world. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Blood of the same texture from before was just as splattered across the desert sands as sand itself was. Solitary eyes watched me from the pyramids. Pentagrams and other satanic symbols were also infrequent in the environment. Could this hack be the work of the Illuminati?
Wait.
Okay, enough pondering. I need to finish this grim tale. I like the Shadow Bubsy theme.
Yeah, it's because it's short, so you don't listen to it long enough for it to fucking grate.
I need to finish this grim tale. Skeletons of Koopas littered the bleak landscape. There was a distinct disturbance with Mario's appearance, though. He looked starved and parched, as one would typically look after a few days in the desert. Mario then moved into the 2-1 block without my command, and the music began to play shortly after. This was a reversed version of the overworld theme. Whispers and other paranormal phenomena could be heard playing in harmony with the music, saying cryptic things. After about a minute I began to record the sound. I'll upload it as soon as possible, but I know I definitely can't do it today. One of the most distinct things I keep hearing was, "Let the whistle guide you," and "The instrument of blood plays the sweetest tune." This creeped me out, needless to say, but this of all things wouldn't prevent me from playing out the remainder of this game. The stage itself was very scary. The sky was greyish-blue, accompanied by an almost white sun. The worst colour. The colours weren't bright or cheery in the slightest. The pyramid blocks were faded and cracked, and the wooden blocks were obviously rotting. Mario Sprite was visibly starving and pleading for thirst. The fire creatures fixedly stared at me like a shark stares at a school of fish, seeming to know who their next meal was.
They don't eat schools of fish, they eat big things.
The neutral expressions of the Koopas had changed into ones of converged disgust and loathe. I had obtained the raccoon by now, so I ran along the pipe-looking platform and took off. I've started to read it like an upbeat way, I thought it'd be funny. I flew for a little while, which was nice. Thank you. Mario's face changed as well, being the normal, happy smile you usually see throughout the entire game. I relished in the few moments of happiness I sought from this game. These moments were mercilessly ended within the course of a few seconds. The sky flashed a gloomy black, before the blood whistle came and impaled the poor plumber yet again. Mario fell, his corpulent figure going limp until he hit the ground with a thump that I swore I could feel. Oh, poor Bubsy.
Oh, that corpulence.
He was miraculously alive, his body twitching in a feeble attempt to rise. A fire creature jumped on Mario, who was now pinned to the ground and screaming in pain. His scream was bitterly realistic. It reeked of such ineffable pain it hurts me now to describe with the sheer degree of torture this character was put through. There he was, burning and seething in pain, and there I sat, completely powerless. Forced to watch what I thought was the end of his trials on World 2, I was so wrong. Mamma mia! The level select came into view. Whistle through back. Mario was transported to one of the pyramid levels. Dances with Woolies.
Someone desperately wants us to change the game, by the way.
Never.
Which I'm cool with.
Dead.
Fuck this game.
Bubsy is fucking dead.
Not mention paint.
We could play something else.
No, never. What?
But what?
Yeah, exactly. You have to finish it. This is it. This is you now.
Oh dear. This is my life. So anyway...
The level select came into view. Whistle through back. Mario was transported to one of the pyramid levels. When the level started, the background was an egregious, smoke-filled black. Egregious? What the fuck? Who wrote it? Right-click, thesaurus. Egregious? That's fine. Bursts of lightning filled the sky with illumination. Winged demons in flight were visible upon these strikes. Also in the skies glowed stagnantly lit pentagrams. Stagnantly lit...
The person has a bit of issue with adjectives.
Yeah. My corpulence. Also in the skies glowed stagnantly lit pentagrams and 666. Mario was being carried by two of Bowser's sons up one of the game's pyramid structures. However, this particular structure was vastly different than the regular ones. Of course, it was evil. It was photorealistic
it's a pyramid
blood.
scheme.
This is the Ponzi pyramid, famous Mario level.
No!
Oh. Why doesn't it get caught on the tracks and splat apart?
Would you like him to?
Yeah.
It might be cathartic.
Incredibly realistic death animations.
Anyway.
Okay. blood, wall ball. Bubsy, hear its cry. The bricks were cracked and faded with age. The edges were jagged with dried blood caked on each block. Nothing but a heavy drum beat and the sounds of thunder played in the background. The thunder didn't play in unison with lightning as happens in most games. There was an eerily realistic pause between the flare of the lightning and the boom of the thunder. As the top of the structure was reached, I saw the worst thing yet. A copy of Bubsy for the SNES towered above Namco.
Too much.
Bowser towered above everyone else, intimidating and terrible. Below stood 4 of his sons, 2 of which had carried Mario: Morton, Iggy, Ray, and Von Cooper.
And Sleepy.
Happy Smurf. Above the entire scene were the words "Blood Whistle" in bright red neon letters. Bowser's face had to have been 10 times more evil than I had ever seen it. His green shell was cracked, and his white spines had been dipped in blood.
Oh.
Blood was fresh on his teeth, also.
Is this still an 8-bit game?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, as his serpentine tongue licked them, making clear his intentions and what to do with Mario after he had disposed of him, it was then I came to a dooming realization. Mario can't die. The game won't let him. However many things are thrown at him, in however many ways he is brutally maimed, mortality will not escape him. For a time, that is. He will continue to be sustained by whatever dark force or sick mind that drives the rest of these occurrences to passing until the game's eventual end, in which he will ruefully and painfully perish. Now that has been said, to continue today's experience.
Great.
Suddenly, Von Cooper produced a dagger. It gleamed with uncanny realism in the light of the blood whistle sign that loomed above. After a brief pause, he began to slice Mario's chest open.
My contract does not mention paint.
Does not mention paint? Pain.
Pain.
Pain. Neither of those really make sense.
My contract doesn't reek of pain.
Cats can't sign contracts. Ridiculous.
Wear t-shirts.
Tears. No,
Or
slice
fly.
Mario's chest open. Mario again brayed that fearful cry. A cry that implied he would die only to endure torture of 10s the magnitude. 10 times the magnitude. Tears streamed down his faced.
His corpulent face.
Faced, as Von removed his heart, still pumping. He handed it to Bowser, who ate it with a crunching chomp.
Okay.
Lovely.
Well, at least he's dead now. He can.
No, he's still alive. He can't die.
Even though he's been eaten.
His heart's been eaten. He's still alive.
Oh.
He's still braying his fearful cry. He's still going. It's incredible.
Okay.
Okay, so his sons laughed as he did this, blood flowing from Mario's exposed abdomen. With the bark from their twisted father, the sons shamelessly began to regurgitate and tear apart what was open. As they were doing this, Mario slowly turned his head towards me and uttered a single question through tears and blood. Why? I myself asked the very same question. The very same and not same. All at once and the same. Why would they treat him as an animal, if not less, for their amusement? Why would someone initiate the genesis of such a horrid contraption? A contraption in which life... Is this guy like an English student?
If I press this button, will it allow me to save state?
Oh, do you want to unfull screen it so you can save state?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Because this game is really pissing me off.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you press F1 to load and Shift F1 to save. Okay. A contraption in which life and death have no meaning and are manipulates. That's not. A contraption in which concepts such as morals, remorse, and mercy are completely foreign. It makes me shudder to think that there is someone sick enough out there to put a character through this kind of unbearable hell just to sit back and laugh. It makes me absolutely sick to my core. Oh, that reminds me of another thing. You're probably wondering as to why I complacently talk about Mario as if he's a human being. A human who suffers pain, sorrow, depression, starvation, and thirst like the rest of us. A human who is also capable of feeling happiness, remorse, goodwill, and love like anyone else. It's because I am thoroughly convinced that he is. please, don't stop following this blog because you think I'm insane. That will come later.
Wait. He's a normal human, but he also can't die.
Yes. I believe without a shadow of a doubt that inside this game is a character with a complex range of emotions, someone who feels like you and me. But it's just a game, right? It's just a contrived mixture of code and data put together to present words and images, correct? Wrong. I know that everything inside of me, I know with everything inside of me that Mario has to be alive. I've seen him truly happy and truly sad, and at one point I may even see him truly angry. He feels like any other living, breathing human being. I don't know how, I don't know why. I don't know how something so human could rise from something so truly inhuman. A character with a soul seemed completely impossible to me before I played this hack. I now have a goal with this game, to keep this poor creature safe. I suppose I now know the real truth. I'll see you all tomorrow, same place, same time. And smash that like button, hit that bell.
Why same time?
You update every day.
On
same.
the dot.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
9 p.m.
6 p.m. time to post about the murder hack.
I'm gonna save state. Sorry, keep going.
Okay.
It's made me a lot less frustrated just knowing that I can say.
June 9th, 2012. It's me again. I had a horrible range of nightmares last night that are a direct result of playing this game. Some really weird stuff also went down. Before I get into today's gameplay, I'll have to go through them with you guys so I'll have an interactive record of my dreaming habits related to this game.
What? What's going on?
I myself am having a hard time as to how they were so close to home and what they mean for my seemingly inevitable downfall. I love just how much they've set up, like, I'm gonna lose my mind and also die. Like, wait for that to happen, please.
Yeah.
No spoilers. Don't spoil your own story. This is a Dark City thing where they don't know that you should not spoil your own story.
Mm-hmm.
Before I tell this, I have to let you in on a piece of relevant information. In the 4th grade I used to play the recorder. Every kid had to learn some musical skill, and I liked wind instruments because of their method of play, appearance, and sound. Such is the irony of the instrument that caused me all this grief. In my dream I was playing the instrument in a dark room. This music's even better when it's being interrupted by save states.
Yeah, I know.
I was my 4th grade self, just coolly playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. Out of nowhere I began to cough. I'd choked on some blood that had materialized within and around my recorder. It covered it and soon filled it. Blood began to pour in great quantity out of all of the recorder's holes. It soon began to float in mid-air and hover. A few seconds passed and then it struck me in the chest. It had impaled me, going directly through my heart and every other vital artery one could think of, all at once.
One could think of.
It then began to play their new song, Mary Had a Little Blood. No, I made that up. Sorry. I woke up, the sheets plastered to my bare chest with sweat. I was completely fine, not a scratch on me. As I sat there in bed, afraid of how I'm sure the game did this, or maybe it was just me losing my sanity, I began to hear noise coming from my laptop. It was closed, but a faint muffled humming sound was clearly audible. I warily approached my computer, the machine almost looking alive. I then opened it up. It was a picture of Super Mario Bros. 3 Raccoon Mario sprite on the desktop. He was chained up by his legs and feet, and the chains reached around the outside of the screen. The blood whistle sat as the centerpiece of it all through Mario's chest. The tune of the blood whistle played over and over, a loop that only exacerbated the sound within the walls of my psyche. The goat with 1,000 young has taken me, alas alack. I tried exiting out of whatever this program might have been, but the window wouldn't close. I eventually had to take out my laptop battery, which didn't sit too well with my OS. Luckily I didn't lose any files. Now for the gameplay. I was on a weak imitation of the World 3 level map.
The writing is so bad. It's so meticulous in a way that's not charismatic at all.
They've someone taught them that this is how you write, or they got it in their head that this is it, and they're just like, I'm doing it. Right click thesaurus.
Yeah.
Fixed. It's a shame it's not even double spaced the way a proper bad essay would.
Mm-hmm.
It's written, this wikia. I was on a weak imitation of the World 3 level map. The water was none other than blood. That's a good sentence, actually. Okay, I like that one.
That's amazing.
Ravenous fish jumped out of the water, looks of primal hunger on their faces. There was something off about Mario's map representation that I noticed right away. Along with his raccoon tail, the blood whistle was now a permanent fixture through his body. His skin had dulled a little from its prior shade of grey, now more outwardly noticeable. Oh, it's a boss fight. His mustache now had dots of red clung to it as well. Without my or Mario's control, needless to say, I was moved to the first... Needless to say? What?
Well, don't say
without...
it then, you fucker.
Needless to say, it's uncontrollably, I was moved to the first underwater stage. This just seems like an okay easy fight. You just bounce on it a lot and don't touch the... That's like weirdly Freudian, just like that ball extending and then dropping the guy out of it.
Yeah.
Just... I also like that the yarn constantly changes colour. On your item screen.
Please, don't. Oh my god.
Oh god. A cherry red tint absorbed the entire screen. This was to be expected as the water looked blood-ridden from the outside as well. I swam down the left side of the level to get a fire mushroom. As soon as Mario got it and his outfit changed, he got an evil simper on his face. He looked at me and said, "Revenge, yes?" I confirmed his suspicions and then we set off for the danger that lurked near.
I'm so close! Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you. The
Please keep
fish
going.
cast malevolent gazes at Mario as he swam by, incinerating them. His normal happy smile returned. So did mine. The annihilation of the carnivorous critters didn't last long before both Mario and I faced a hellish dilemma. There was a large fish with rows of razor-sharp teeth. Below him were two power-up blocks, one black-looking and one purple-looking. I assumed these were supposed to mean red and blue. Obviously there was no progress from this point without finding out what these blocks had in store. Mario's expression changed back into its gaunt appearance that he has had for the majority of the game. Knowing I had no other choice, I dauntingly hit the block that was black in appearance on the left. The fish swam around from its position in top of us and began to tear off Mario's limbs.
I'm so scared of dying. Yes, this is also really scary.
Make a save to like F2 so that if you die,
Oh, you
if
can
you're
do that?
like
Shift
stuck,
F2?
yeah. So that way, if you die here, you can go the previous save. You're not like stuck in death forever.
Okay, cool. Okay. Shift F2.
Ah, we're finally gonna make it. Oh no.
Let's see what happens.
Doesn't help that when that start is also fast forward. So whenever you unpause, Bubsy fucking flies. It's dead. Dead.
It's not gonna happen every time.
Crushed.
Completely
Fucking crushed to death. The fish swam around from its position in top of us and began to tear off Mario's limbs. By this time, a group of fish had congregated around the entire scene. We can turn off the fast forward if you want. Their laughs were deep and short, registering as barks for the 8-bit sound processor. Mario's unable body wobbled as he bled out. My unable body wobbled. That's what I say. That's a good, it's a good sex line. I'm sure it's in 50 Shades somewhere, you know, Christian's unable body wobbled.
Just amazing imagery.
Wobbled as he bled out, spewing black across the red. When he finally died, the fish began to laugh. After a couple of seconds, Mario's limbs regrew. With the blue block remaining, I hit it to get this all over with. Bubbles stopped coming from Mario's mouth. He cried out for help, but that only made the problem worse. He sucked in tons of water, his hands around his neck. His face began to grow from grey to blue in a matter of moments. He kicked and fought, but he only wore himself down.
Huh.
Getting angry, he began to incinerate random fish that had gathered in the crowd.
Oh my god!
The fish began to laugh louder. For every fish he killed, 2 more appeared in its place. After a while, he just gave up. I watched as Mario uttered his last gurgle on World 3, the blood whistle stabbing and taking him. I thought it was already stuck in his body. I saved and quit with haste. See you all tomorrow. You seem like you're having even worse of trouble than the guy in this creepypasta.
I think I am.
What did you?
I'm having
You
the
did it
worst
then, and
time
actually loaded
that
the
anyone has
save.
ever had.
Do you have to kill one of them before it lets you hit
Well-
the thing again?
I killed it, and then they killed me.
Oh,
Like how does... I actually have to kill them.
oh, you've got to kill them all. You've got to kill them all.
them all.
Oh,
Don't,
that was so
don't
scary.
You fucking dare.
Oh god,
Piece of shit.
we did it.
Oh,
Look
thank
how
you,
happy
save
he is.
state. Literally couldn't have done it without you. Let's
June
read
10th,
more.
2012.
Yes.
Campus police gave me a visit today. Apparently one of you had reported my comments related to suicide and claimed I was insane. As a result, I've eliminated all personal information from this blog. I located the person who reported me and banned him. I also murdered him. I also have an IP tracker, so don't any of you try that. This is far too happy for this. I located... Speaking of followers, 50,000! I'd never expected this page to accumulate this many active viewers. Wherever this popularity, or notoriety, came from, I am grateful. Now for today's gameplay. After today, I'll be lucky to finish the game. Princess Toadstool's letter appeared after the... Oh god,
Oh,
this
great.
theme... No!
Literally, it just happened.
Don't touch... Stop it.
And then the track starts again from the start.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Like, whoever programmed this game did not know how to do, like, more than one layer of sound, so they just have to start a new one again. God, I remember that, like, one of the PC releases of Sonic, or one of the, like, collected edition versions of Sonic 1, it had one audio track, so whenever any sound effect played, it would stop every other sound that was playing for it to continue.
Oh, really?
And I think it would restart the music as well every time.
It's
Stop
terrible.
it. Never play that sound in my presence again.
I'm trying so hard.
Fly over it. Go, go. Ah. It's supposed to fly through that gap in the wood.
I'm kind of suspecting maybe that's the case. But let's see how we go. Please continue.
This is an 8-second banjo loop. Okay. Princess Toadstool's letter appeared after the previous screen from World 3 faded out. She was squirming and shifting around. Bowser's hand covered her mouth and nose, but it was easy to see the fear in her eyes. They darted left and right in stark, true fear.
Stark true fear.
Bowser continued to have that sadistic smile on his face as he struggled with her. After about a minute and a half, Peach began to change. Her eyes grew an ominous reed, not red, reed, as she pushed Bowser's arm away with inhuman strength. She cackled like a loon, blue veins bulging so noticeably that they were clearly visible through her white satin gloves. Bowser had begun to cower in timidity. The text on the screen, the text on the letter said only this: "Blood whistle, hear its cry." Peach. The letter scene was abruptly cut off, and the World 4 level select map was brought into view. Goombas and Koopas of all sizes appeared, furious and hungry as ever. This addition made sense. This was the giant/tiny world. The shown enemies would be dimensioned as such. What? Amazing sentence structure here.
Yeah.
The normally green grass was withered and dead. The small patches of water were blood. Mario still was in the fireball fatigues that he donned in World 3. When compared to the other worlds, the map view for this one was vastly less disturbing. I would go as far as to call this tolerable. Mario moved towards 4-1, into whatever nightmarish scenario the stage had to offer. The stage had the usual kinks of any level in this game. The sky was black, which made the white clouds vibrantly contrast. A reversed version of the ground level once again played. The wood, as it had been before, was decaying and wasting away beneath Mario's feet. The pipes were faded and cracked in various places. All of the enemies still possessed the same carnivorous looks of their intergame counterparts. Intergame? Well, there was, oddly enough, a startling abundance of them. Koopas and Goombas danced around in a ritualistic manner. Mario was visibly petrified as he tried to avoid them, my arrow keys keeping them inches away from his life. Amidst the... I wish people wrote about this just whenever they wrote about games. Like, this was just like how Polygon wrote articles about about stuff.
Yeah.
Amidst all of the din, there hovered a solitary power-up block.
Yeah.
It was regular in appearance. Nothing was outwardly off about this, which greatly surprised me. Not knowing what horrid item it contained, I bumped it in blind vein.
In blind vein?
Yeah, that maybe it could help me. I bumped it in blind vein, full stop, new sentence. That maybe it could help me, full stop. You can most likely infer from the intonation I made in the preceding paragraph that I was completely mistaken.
Oh, no.
You can tell from how poorly I wrote this that it was bad. What happened next is what I dreaded. That damn whistle was sitting there, blood washing over it as it rose from the yellow square. It sat there almost beckoning my name. With the imposing enemies, I knew I had no other choice. I took the weapon from its place, fruitlessly hoping for the best, readily expecting the worst. The on-screen foes ceased all activity.
Yeah, I didn't like this.
Their faces returned to a neutral, bank state.
Okay.
5 minutes they stood in place like this, not moving a muscle. I jumped around and tried to kill them, but to no avail. That was a perfect loop of the banjo. Just like,
Yeah, it was.
It's almost as if they were frozen within the confines of time itself in their bank state. As if for specifically them, all interstellar and physical continuity came to a careening halt. This is literally like a creepypasta written by Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Then the prose is so purple. Then they began to move. After the first couple had did it, I realised, capital W, what truly was going on. This was a mass suicide. Most of them had just jumped in the nearest hole, but others had performed incredible feats of acrobatics and medical possibility. One Koopa was bashing his head on a pipe. Another Goomba jumped 6 or 7 times his own height, turned around in the air and sent blood flying everywhere with a great splat. Great splat!
Great.
Soon all of the enemies were dead. Their remains were spontaneously upchucked from the trench below. A grisly mixture of guts and gore littered the entire remainder of the level. Mario shuffled through the remains, horrified with tears streaming on his face throughout. Random, deep, bassy tones played with nothing else to accompany. Honestly, this game could do with a few deep, bassy tones playing randomly. It would improve the sound. It just couldn't
really
just a
would.
lot of high-pitched banjos. Why is this cat so smug? What the fuck is Hbom saying and why? I'm reading Blood Whistle, a Super Mario Bros. 3 creepypasta.
Blood Whistle is the name of the game.
Realistic squishy sounds are emitted every time Mario took a step in the scattered carnage. He continued to cry for the duration of the level. I love to play a game with this constantly crying guy. That's this music's actually quite bearable.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of what's the name of there's a fairly good RPG. Space Funeral has the main character's constantly crying. It's a bit scary, but it's all like creepy, but it's actually like an interesting story. It's kind of a cool game.
Okay.
I like it. It's one of my favourite like RPG Maker games. Oh good, yeah, go back to start. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I have to restart the creepypasta now every time you go back. What happened?
I walked back in and it took me even further back.
Wow. It better be a bonus level.
Better be a bonus level that takes me right to the end.
Takes you to level 1.
This is a Blood Whistle
he moves
level.
up the pipes.
Yeah.
Incredible. Oh well, I guess you're dead now. You've fallen.
Well, at least I got that gem that apparently has some kind of purpose.
I've fallen and I can't get up. I'm thirsty. Let me get something to cat drink. Nailed it.
Hbom.
Realistic squishy sounds were emitted every time took a step in the scattered carnage. He continued to cry for the duration of the level. The whistle faded into view and followed Mario a few inches above his head, like a pestilential virus. After he cleared it, of course, the whistle went straight through his chest as Mario was headed to World 5. The game has a habit of putting me where it needs me to be, so I closed the window without saving. Witnessing all of that death really racked my nerves. Sure, it might be a game, but with the things this game has had to present to me, I'm starting to lose my perception of reality. I'm starting to wonder to myself what is real and what is inside the computer. These two things were quickly fusing into one. The lines, ... they're blurring. Pretty soon, the days will start fading together, and by then I'll have lost all sense of reality. I hope to see you all tomorrow.
Okay, bye!
I don't know how much longer I can put up with this game. No, it's not a game. I couldn't tell you what this is.
I'm back at the start of the level.
We've been at this nearly 2 hours.
It feels like more.
I was going to say, for me, it's really flown by.
Yeah.
I've been able to distract myself with Blood Whistle.
Well.
Today being D-Day fits, June 11th, 2012, D-Day fits because I'm fighting one hell of a war against this game. That's really mean. That's really reductive.
Yeah.
It's fucking... Much like 9/11, I'm in my own personal... What? You just got killed by a turd?
I just got killed by a turd, yeah. Oh!
Be very careful?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm gonna save state here.
Okay. You can make it, Busby. One hell of a war against... I'm fighting one hell of a war against this game, and a losing one at that. At least there are no more mishaps with you all so far, which puts me at rest. As of today's gameplay, I fear for my own life. I feel as if something is coming after me, lurking, seeking me out, as to make immediate my demise. Never before has anything like this ever happened. Never before has anything electronic made me truly afraid, truly scared. I most likely will get no sleep tonight. Nothing in particular occurred, it's just... ... You'll find out below. I was in the middle of the cloud portion of World 5. This guy, this madman, the Sky theme played, except it was drastically slow, and demonic whispers were clearly audible. The whispers were almost the same as the ones I heard back in World 2. Mario was outfitted with the Tanuki suit, which naturally suited the environment. There was nothing there except two things. There's nothing there except two things. A red dot and a card game.
Oh,
The card game icon looked similar enough to its regular game clone, except the spades rolled across a red background instead of a blue one. And the red was photorealistic blood. No, there's no input out there. Now, for whatever reason, I was allowed to choose which path to take. I chose to do the card game, hoping it would serve as a sort of reprieve from all the madness. This was not the right choice. Toad didn't explain the rules of the game like normal.
Oh, the bastard.
Instead, I was plunged into the rolling slots. Beside the slots was a risky scenario. Toad was on a guillotine.
Wait.
He looked at the camera with timid, teary eyes. He was also vigorously shaking. He was also vigorously shaking his head. He shook his hands in a futile effort to free himself from this appalling apparatus, but nothing came of it. The entire picture engulfed me so much, I didn't even notice the slots. I cautiously pressed them, trying as best as I could to line them up given the stress of the situation. I failed, and had to pay the personal price.
Oh no, not the personal price.
The blade fell with breathtaking speed. It dropped faster than gravity could allow, apparently. Toad was beheaded right then and there. His head did a couple of spins in the air before landing in a conveniently placed nearby basket. The initial spins flayed blood across the white room. Blood filled the basket and filled it up.
Certainly didn't fill it down.
Blood filled the basket and filled it up.
Okay.
Toad's body spraying blood from the stump where it's more blood. I'm getting lightheaded from reading this. Just
Yeah. How much more is there of this to go?
Quite a bit. There's a little bit more. The initial spins flayed blood across the white room. Blood filled the basket and filled it. The blood whistle came down and struck his torso. The scene faded out and back to the map. I was moving to the only remaining destination in World 5. Silent lightning streaked across the licorice black sky. It's a very cute licorice.
Yeah.
Toad committed tax fraud. Says Simon
Fantastic.
458. Silent lightning streaked across the licorice black sky. Grey clouds and Mario were the only consistently visible things. As far as everything goes, silhouettes of winged demons flew and danced in the background. I tried turning into the stone structure the Tanuki suit is so famous for, but it failed. No music played. None at all. The demons would be heard whispering in what sounds like a variety of languages. Spanish, German and Latin were the most prevalent ones.
How does one recognize Latin?
I recognise Latin.
Yeah?
At least 4 words of Latin. Dom, Eus,
Dominus.
Est,
Someone is
Codex, Est.
that, yeah.
A primal fear of the unknown gripped me as I blindly navigated the level. Judging by the look on Mario's face, it plagued him also. This stemmed from childhood, which made it all the worse. I not only felt like Mario was in danger, I felt like my livelihood and well-being were in danger. At that moment, one of the demons swooped down. I would say the most accurate way to describe this creature would be a miniature Cthulhu.
Oh, thank
Oh, of course.
thank.
Oh, I love Lovecraft. Its claws plucked out Mario's eyes, making them profusely bleed. He unleashed an ephemeral yet bone-chilling cry. After the searing pain relented, Mario trudged on. His face was now void of any and all expression. It was because he knew as well as I did that he would be torn apart. Brutally and slowly, but it would happen. After a few more seconds, the second demon came. It was identical in appearance to the first. It swooped down with grim black bat wings and did its portion of damage. After it was said and done...
So sorry. You can get through this.
After it was said and done, the thing had torn Mario's arms off. Mario stopped dead in his tracks. He sobbed loudly, knowing the worst was yet to come. I felt so sorry for him that the words escaped me. Da 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 da. Mario stopped dead in his tracks. I already read that part. I felt so sorry for him that the words escaped me. He continued with a morose look. His normal walk slowed to a shuffle. Not a few seconds after that, the final solitary spectre came down. He did his work with one big slash. Mario was now without his legs, and his lump of a body sat there. He sadly wept in utter despair. He knew the end was near. He turned to me and
Surely
choked.
he wants to die at this point.
Yep. He choked out this. I'm sorry you had to witness this. ... Everything ... Those were his last spoken words on World 5 before a gaggle of hell's minions
World 5?
descended and tore apart what remained of him. His entrails were liberally exposed as they regurgitated in their cruel feast. When the dust cleared, a mere shell of him remained. All you could see of his open stomach were his open spine and back muscles.
Ugh.
As I had predicted, the blood whistle came down to transport him into whatever hellish situation it contemplated would be worse than the last. Consider it sheer luck if I make another post tomorrow. If I do, it may be my last.
But I'll do it anyway.
There's 2 more posts.
Okay.
So this is it.
This is it.
Second last. June 12th, 2012. I'm starting not to care anymore. I'm in the throes
So are we.
I'm in the throes of such a severe depression that it's all starting to fade away. This is us playing Bubsy, this isn't in the CreepyPasta.
Yeah.
Everything. School, friends, family. It's safe to say this game is single-handedly ruining my life. This is again, and in the CreepyPasta.
Yes.
Such sadness has never become me ever before in my life. I have to stop and do a check that I'm not just making up worse words.
Someone's asking why Hbom is playing a playthrough of is reading a playthrough of Bubsy.
Very clever. My grandfather died when I was young, but that didn't close to equate what I'm feeling now. It's a direct result of the level that I played today, which I'll get into right now.
Oh, good.
World 6 appeared. Ice was. It's just like the day after D-Day. It's like my grandfather died, but it's just like compares it all to like real tragedies. World 6 appeared. Ice was everywhere. This was the one part that correlated to the unaltered version. Nothing else did. The ice was none other than blocks. The ice was none other than frozen, realistic blood. Crystallized pieces of crimson droplets bordered the ice blocks. Blood, of course, filled in the small pockets of water that were. Of course, there was only a solitary dot on the map. Mario entered it, and I knew that whatever was to pass, it would be tenfold of what had already happened. Pure sable white was the only thing that constituted the backdrop.
Okay.
Blocks of blood ice served as a slippery ground. Mario slid along as I controlled him. Jesus, that's a fucking full-on crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
He appeared happy. Overjoyed might be more accurate. Here he had nothing to deal with. Just him and the open space. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Every door you go through takes you further back. And you're forwards.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Not fair. It's not fair.
No.
I just wanted...
I like that it at least doesn't play the slippy slidey theme on this part.
Just imagine that.
And it slides you up sometimes in this. No. No, my brain nightmare continues.
I believe in you.
Okay. 5 minutes passed, then 10. All the way through, Mario was happy as I let him run around and fly. In brackets, he had regained the raccoon tail. It seemed like he had done all the time it seemed like he had all the time in the world. The clock ticked, and all seemed right in the game. Making my way through the level, I found it had no end. Time, oddly enough, would turn out to be the ultimate enemy. At the 20-minute mark, a tempest began to pick up. A flurry of snow and wind ensnared Mario, and he now began to curl his tail. His teeth chattered.
Wait, Mario. Oh, he's a tanuki?
Yeah, he's in the tanuki suit. How do you pronounce it?
Tanuki.
Tanuki.
Yeah.
Tanuki.
Like Keta.
Keta. He soon had to sit down. His teeth chattered and his body shook. Mario and I soon figured out how the game planned to snuff him out this time, with ice and time. He sat and tried to heat himself. This, needless to say, was a less than feeble attempt. Very rude about Mario's attempt. Nothing but the creepy bass beats from World 5 played out. Mario's skin soon began to turn a light blue. Nevertheless, he still sat and brooded in the icy cold. It was then... It was then that the utmost feeling of sadness had encapsulated me. I couldn't fathom my sympathy. What? I couldn't begin to describe how bad I felt at the fact that his death was absolutely inevitable, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. I hate when writers of CreepyPasta put themselves in the foreground, like their emotions, and not like the thing that's happening.
Yeah.
You couldn't begin to describe how bad I felt his death, and it was absolutely inevitable. There's nothing I could do to stop it. I just simply watch in shock and dejected awe. Is that a 9/11? Is that like a Iraq War reference?
Injected all? What?
Shock and dejected awe.
Shock and
awe. Frostbite soon took his hands. 10 minutes after that, World 6 Mario was no more. Just a frozen block of a man sitting there in the middle of an infinite winter wilderness. And after the sadness came feelings of sheer loneliness. I felt abandoned and alone.
Oh, yeah, of course he felt abandoned and alone. Poor guy chose to play this game.
Just like Mario sitting in the middle of that ice field. I felt as if no one would save me from the torture of this game. The blood whistle came down and made a chunk sound as it impaled his chest, taking him to the next level of hell. I closed the emulator window like always and ended this self-subjected torture.
And subjected torture onto Mario.
I will bring myself to play this game tomorrow, but mark my words, I'll play the last tomorrow, and then this blog will hopefully live on in my memory, so my tribulation can be seen by the world. Be here. Be here, same time, same place. Same bat
Be
time.
here, like and subscribe.
I'm really surprised that the spinning things that are holding that platform up don't, like, gut Bubsy.
Yeah.
Same Bubsy time, same Bubsy channel.
Oh, that was the end. Oh, I'm so close.
Dead. I guess you gotta bounce up somehow?
Yeah.
Dead.
Eggs.
Is there nothing down there that can bounce you up?
There might be something.
Dead!
You know, I'll try to bounce onto that platform after killing this boss. It's a process.
That end was kind of underwhelming. There is another day. June 13th, 2012.
Well, this is going to be the climax, so it's going to be the most exciting of all the entries.
The thrilling conclusion of Blood Whistle.
Wait, is that what? Oh, right. Sorry, I thought that it was actually written.
No.
I wouldn't put it past the writing.
It is ironic indeed that today is June the 13th.
Even better.
The unlucky number, the unlucky day. I suppose today isn't completely horrible. Today is the last day I had to play this wretched game. Oh, you did it. This horrifying, absurd remake of what I used to see as a wonderful game will soon be out of my life, along with everything else. With this being the last post, I suppose I can finally be honest about my true intentions ever since I finished World 2. I'm going to take my own life.
Wait.
This is how I feel about Bubsy as well. This game has caused me sorrow on such an ineffable level that there is no other option. Life will never be the same. Mum and Dad, I love you. Michael and Kelsey, you guys be good. Listen to Mum and Dad. They have a lot of valuable lessons to teach you.
I don't.
Lessons that I learned but can now never apply again. Like, don't play Blood Whistle.
Wait,
Now,
why is he killing himself?
the game's hauntingly bad. He's discovered such horrible
Fair enough.
things about Bubsy, about Mario, that he has to destroy. Now, for what you 75,000 followers read this post for, the rest of the game. Hell itself is what the game brought to me. I suppose that this was intentioned to convey World 8. What? I sometimes like, did my eyes deceive me? What was this sentence? No, not hell. Worse than hell. Bodies were chained up in the back. I actually took my headphones off before to stop the music. I'll put it back on now.
You have to suffer with me.
I have to suffer through both hells. I have to take it at both ends.
Yes.
Being spit roasted by bad games. Bodies were chained up in the background, enduring a myriad of tortures. The only pain wasn't strictly felt from injuries, though. The coughs, dying wheezes and vomiting in the background reeked of pestilence and suffering. Fires emblazoned certain people as well.
Did it reek of pain, though?
The reek of pain. You can smell the pain. The flames had an actual burning quality to them. Do I have any food in my bag? Did I bring any? I think I have some chocolates in there.
I think you do. People are begging you to end this, by the way.
Yeah. Please. There's only a little bit more. Everyone wants it to end. Even the author of the CreepyPasta.
Everyone concerned wants it.
Everyone's so concerned. Hell itself is what the game brought me. Blah 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 blah. Coughs, dying, it's blood, it's all bad. Mario stood before a possessed Princess Toadstool. Her dress was ripped in several places and splattered with blood. Her eyes gleamed red, the flames casting an evilly maniacal allure to her appearance.
I guess that's why her dress was also torn, because, you know, you need to get that kind of...
Finally getting to the cheesecake portion of Mario Blood Whistle.
Yes! It was bound to happen.
Bowser and his six sons were tied to wooden poles with terrified looks on their faces. Wendy, for some reason, didn't appear anywhere in this game. In one hand, Peach brandished a sizable dagger. In the other, the blood whistle. She walked over to Bowser and looked him in the eyes. Technical limitations slightly hindered the interpretation of what events passed, but it was easy enough to understand what was going on. Bowser pleaded with her not to harm him. She brought the knife to him and he froze up. He was obviously paralyzed with fear. Her mouth got closer to his ear and text rolled along at the bottom of the screen, conveying the text of what played out given the sound limitations. This is what enabled Mario to speak in the past. Shh, she whispered. Bowser's innards spilled onto the floor.
Just to write shh.
Yeah. in a great heap. He let out a monstrous 8-bit roar of pain as this happened. Peach laughed, her red eyes reflecting whatever evil had possessed her. The princess proceeded to eviscerate all 6 of his other sons. I'd have started with the sons first, just to get his fear going. No. I'd have done a Sicario. Mario did nothing but look on in horror as his mortal enemies were torn apart by a woman he had once loved very much. I'm like starting to sweat. This is awful. His face soon contorted into one of loathing. He'd come all this way to find out the very girl he wished to save had been taken over by an extraterrestrial evil. What, like aliens? Are the Woolies here? It turns out Bubsy's behind all this. An evil that would not only haunt Mario, but me as well. The sort of evil that doesn't go away when you turn off the game. The kind of dark force that follows you to your bed chambers and steals your soul. Princess Toadstool paused for a couple of seconds, then came at Mario with the knife. "Hey there, Mario," she said as she toyed with the knife. "They got a little sharp with me, so I pushed them over the edge. Hehehe. ... I tried to move Mario, but nothing happened. He stood there afraid of what she might do. She brutally slashed open his arms, legs, and abdomen. Shortly thereafter, the princess produced some salt from her billowing dress and sprinkled it all over him. Love that they're billowing, just so they know. Oh yeah, it's a dress.
Yeah. Wait, she got some salt from her dress?
And then sprinkled it on him.
Where was she storing that salt?
He screamed again, unmoving. The Princess Peach he used to know is long gone. The power of the blood whistle consumed that girl and made way for me. And speaking of which, she continued as she produced the blood whistle. Here it is. Hear its cry. With a mocking kiss on the cheek, she began to play Mario the perverse song of the blood whistle. Its notes rotted away the last reserve of good in me. Bubsy theme. As she laughed, blood whistle. Its notes rotted away the last reserve of good in me. He was heaved by an invisible force into the flames. He cried out as they consumed him. Peach chucked the whistle, making it strike him directly in the heart. He continued to wallow in utter anguish as she walked away. As she laughed, he looked into my eyes and bore me this parting message via the text at the bottom of the screen. Do not let your life be as painful as mine was. I do not hold reservations against you, as you tried your best to keep me alive. I commend you for that. Goodbye, Bradley, and good luck. The tune of the blood whistle continued to play as the screen panned out of Mario's hell. Here we go. How he knew my name was Bradley continues to befuddle me. How he could have such depth, such personality. I don't know whether this was a result of the game being as haunted as it truly is.
Oh, don't you dare!
Or the fact.
Oh my! Sorry.
Did you do it? Did you get it?
I did it. I got it in one go.
That was amazing.
I shouldn't have.
You're starting to get attuned to this nightmare.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're getting passwords of your own. Wow, don't even need me anymore. I'm actually sweating. I think I'm just because I'm hungry.
The hungry sweats. We all know those.
How he could have such depth, such personality. I don't know whether this was a result of the game being as haunted as it truly is, or the fact that someone's could have been captured inside of this ROM. Whatever the reason of this, of everything that has come to pass with this abomination, I am glad I'm finally done. I've made all of my goodbyes at the beginning of this post. I hope one of you takes the time to save this blog, or at the very least, to show the world the true hell. Rip, thank you for 100,000 subscribers. That didn't happen.
Cares more about his blood than he cares about.
Or at the very least, to show the world the true hell I've put myself through. I sure hope that the demented creator of this game isn't festering in the same hell I'm headed for. Goodbye, everyone. Aftermath. This blog was the last recorded statement of Bradley before his death. His roommate discovered him 4 hours after he had made the post. Bradley committed suicide using a recorder that he plunged through his trachea. That's the end.
Not even a whistle.
No,
that was a cop out.
Yeah, that's the last twist.
The final twist. He didn't even know what a whistle was.
Oh god.
Otsukaresama deshita. You worked really hard today. Well, I think we've both enjoyed horrors today.
Yeah. Open your save state so you continue this nightmare once more to hear its cry.
Well,
Oh.
I've got a save state. Do you want to have a go, Harry?
No, I'm too hungry and tired.
I think yes.
Yeah.
I think probably this is a good time to
This is a good stopping point.
escape.
And next time, hopefully I won't, when you try and play a different game, I'll remember to stop you and open this one instead.
I hate you, H-Bob.
But thank you all very much for watching.
Thank you for enduring this with me. I really needed the distraction. It was a hellfire of a game.
And good luck, you fools. Take care. I love you.
Good night, children.
Meh.